Action as it happens. And your reaction from 5 on the open line. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard.
And just like that, we're underway on the first Saturday of the new league season. The 3 o'clock games kicking off up and down the country. Hugh Keevins, Roger Hanna and Gordon Dalziel are in the studio. You've got the top team around the grounds as well. So sit back and strap yourselves in. It promises to be another bumpy ride in Scottish football. Rangers, it was a bumpy ride over the 90 minutes, but they got the job done. Livingston went ahead, Scott Arfield equalised, and James Tavernier grabbed the winner. We'll hear more reaction from that, not only from the guys in here and from the managers, but at 5 o'clock, Rangers fans, we want to know what you made of it. The open line will be here. There is a lot to get through before then. Come on then, you three hopeless predictors. How are these 3 o'clock games going to finish?
I am taking Hearts to beat Ross County at Tynecastle, Dundee United to get an away win at Rugby Park, and there's too much going on at St Johnstone, too many players coming in, no time to knit together. I'm taking Hibs, who are in a bit of a state at the moment themselves, but with Melkerson, Ewan Henderson, good young player, I think that Hibs will win in Perth.
Hearts to win against Ross County at Tynecastle, and I'm going for 2 draws. I think Kilmarnock will get a point on their return to the Premiership against United, and I think St Johnstone and Hibs are a bit as bad as each other. I think they'll cancel each other out in Perth.
First goal of the season in the 3 o'clock games in Scotland goes to Queen of the South. It's 1-0 against Clyde. Lee Connolly with the goal. Takes a bit of getting used to. Sometimes you readjust. I initially was thinking, why are those two playing each other? But of course, Queen of the South relegated last season. Gordon, your ACCA quickly.
ACCA just quickly. Hearts for me, Kelly Dundee United draw, and I'm going for the new changes, Callum Davidson's St Johnstone.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Goal flashes with Clyde Built Home Improvements. Cambuslang showroom now open to the public.
I love 3 o'clock on a Saturday. There's something about it, Roger Hanna, when you've not had it for 9 weeks and it's given back to you. The league football back underway. Yes, we like our big dramatic televised games, but when there's a lot of football happening at once and we're keeping our eyes and ears all across the country to look out for the drama, you cannot beat it.
And there's stories up and down the country. We tend to focus obviously in the 4 divisions up here, but a word for our old pal Alec Ray. I think he's back at Reading with Paul Ince.
Who they playing today?
Well, would you believe they're away at Blackpool, and you know how much Paul Ince and Alec Ray enjoyed their time at Blackpool. Alec often talks about
he's
it.
never got a bad word to say about the place, does he?
There could be a little bit of opening day needle there. Scott Brown, Hugh's old pal, tried to throw him in the lake
at Port Vale today.
Yes, they're taking on Port Vale. And Paul Hartley, he's signed half the Scottish League. Hartlepool away at Walsall today. So there's interest in English Championship, League 1 and League 2.
Bruni with hair.
I know.
Now he's a manager, he's got hair.
And is it all manner of people? Stephen Whittaker, Barry Nicholson, Stephen Craney. It's like an old firm get together by the seaside.
When you get into management, you've got to get the wig on to be serious. You know.
I know that thought process there.
Yeah. Get the suit and everything. Who's Scott Brown's assistant?
Stephen Whittaker.
What was it?
I'm definitely not going to Fleetwood. There's too much water in Fleetwood.
But that'll be.
Do you know, embarrassingly, I've got no idea if there's water in Fleetwood.
Never been there?
Nah, I can't say I have.
Down next to Blackpool.
Well, it seems like there would be water then.
Yeah. And a severe smell of fish.
Are we still talking about Fleetwood?
Yeah.
Right, okay, because I know there were suggestions about this studio stinking a bit the other night, and I just think we should move on. Dumbarton 1, Stirling Albion 0. Calvin Orsi inside the first minute there. Last week I decided to take in some League Cup action. So over the summer my sister got married. Congratulations to her. We're a few weeks out. And her now husband plays for Stirling Albion. Well, I've referenced it in the past. Anytime Stirling Albion are on, and obviously being in here every Saturday, I'd never get the chance to go and watch my new brother-in-law in action. So I thought, right, okay, last Saturday off, where else would you rather be? Obviously Stirling Albion against Peterhead in the pouring rain. And he went off injured after 32 minutes.
I'll tell you what, that'd have been good news.
Did I stay to the end? I'll let you decide. I will leave that unsaid. You wouldn't have stayed to the end.
There was absolutely no I wouldn't have stayed at the start. I would have just watched the warm-ups and left. But I've got to say, I've watched a few games pre-season. I watched Dumbarton against Aberdeen. Quite impressed with them. Not surprised they've got off to a good start.
Did Aberdeen not batter them?
2-0. Was it 2-0? That's not a battering at Pittodrie. Thought they looked very well organised. So, no, that I think the guys are right.
Hold on. You were at Pittodrie?
Yeah, I was up in Aberdeen business.
Please.
Business? Yeah.
Everything he says just sounds so
dodgy.
seedy.
Yeah, it probably is. But I've got to say the Championship and down the leagues look very good indeed.
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll get to that in a second, because I do want to try and cover as much of Scottish football as we can today. But for the first time this season, Hugh Keevins, this is your big moment. Are you ready?
Here we go.
The first half teaser.
With the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Since season 1998-99, there have been 6 Finnish players. For the benefit of the Dazzler, that's players who come from Finland. There have
Europe.
been 6 Finnish players who've played at least 3 times in the Scottish Premiership for either Celtic or Rangers.
Wow, what a question.
Who are they? Since season 98-99, there have been half a dozen Finnish players who have played at least 3 times in the Premiership for either Celtic or Rangers. Name them.
Aside from that balloon to your left leaning over and whispering it loudly in front of a live mic, that was a good question.
Did that get?
Yes, that was correct. It's been tweeted at Clyde SSB, so head over there if you want to read the question again. I'll give you the feed. I'll repeat it, or Hugh will repeat it as we go on, and that's where you send your answers. So ideally we're looking for all of the correct answers on one tweet before everyone else. At Clyde SSB. That's how the first half teaser
Bruni's
works.
1 up.
Bruni is 1 up. Dan Batty, whoever he may be, has put Fleetwood 1 up against Port Vale. And I'll tell you what, they're obviously missing my influence at Stirling Albion.
Yeah,
They're 2-0 down.
I've told you they're a
inside
good
5
side.
minutes of the new league season. Dumbarton have gone 2-0 up against Stirling Albion. Declan Byrne with
Callum
the second.
Hendry, debut goal for Salford as
Yes,
well.
son of Colin.
Yes.
Joined us on the
Braveheart.
show many times. Callum Hendry, former St Johnstone and Aberdeen striker, has scored for Salford as
I read
well.
a nice
So well done to him.
piece with Scott Brown in the week, Roger, where he said that Fleetwood, well, why not? That's about my level at this stage of my coaching career. So very honest of him. You know, you've gone from Celtic 9 in a row, Champions League, this, that, the other, but he's saying Fleetwood, why not? That's where I should be starting.
And I spoke to him, I think it was a day after he was appointed in May, Hugh, and he's got a really refreshing attitude towards it. You know, some guys who had the playing career of Scott Brown wouldn't have dirtied their shoes going down into England's League One. He was actually looking forward to it. He was looking forward to the challenge, looking forward to working with players. He was excited. You know, he's excited about getting Stephen Whittaker down there with him. Stephen Crary was already there, you know, picking his brains about the players that he was inheriting. He was excited about working with the chairman, who I think at that stage had just signed a cheque to send him to Croatia for a pre-season training camp. You know, it was actually, it was refreshing to see that despite everything he's achieved in his career, all those medals with Celtic, 50 odd caps for Scotland, that this was a new chapter. He was just desperate to get going.
I do love the first day of the season. The weather is alright out there, the crowds are big, the optimism is high. A really good attendance at Rugby Park. The Hibs have packed out the traditional away end at McDermott Park. There's some fans in the other end as well. And a minute's silence for late Hearts great Drew Busby at Tynecastle.
What
The
a
buzzer,
player.
he
I
was
remember
something.
him.
Yeah, brilliant.
Donald Ford and Busby up front.
Great goal scorer for Hearts and very popular with the fans. He's a lovely guy, Drew Busby. Sorry to hear of his passing, and good that they've acknowledged his time at Hearts today.
Hibs have started well, front three full of pace, causing St Johnstone some problems. It's not been a great pre-season for Hibs. They were, probably, they were going out the cup anyway. Then an administrative error, they got chucked out the cup essentially. Aidan McGeady comes in, misses 2 penalties, and then gets injured for a few weeks. So it's been a bit of a bumpy road, but they're looking lively.
They need a big season, Hibs, don't they? Let's be honest about it. They're not divine right, nobody has, but they're a big club. They've got a big support potentially there if they can get a bit of success. So brought up the boy Lee Johnson. Be interesting to see, about how they go about their business. But for Hibs, I think they need a big season.
Ron Gordon gave Sean Malloy 19 games and said he knew before that he was going to get rid of him. So I go back to this Edinburgh derby next weekend. Lee Johnson needs a big result today in Perth, and he needs to finish up on the right side of Hearts to follow up, because you don't want to be giving Uncle Ron a decision to make too early.
If you go out the Premier Sports Cup the way they did, farcical circumstances. If you lose at St Johnstone, who are most people's tips to go down, and then you lose an Edinburgh derby to Hearts, you are under pressure straight away.
Big time.
This is a big goal. Cove Rangers 1, Wraith Rovers 0. Mitch Megginson, Cove Rangers top goal getter in recent seasons, and I feel like for some people in Glasgow and the West, this will have sneaked up on them. Cove Rangers are a championship team all of a sudden. They've done ever so well to come up Highland League and start working their way up, and they'll have real ambitions of.
Is it Jim McIntyre?
Giving it until it is Jim McIntyre.
Paul Hartley's moving the summer there. It is Jim McIntyre who's back. Good record at that level.
Were they talking a new stadium?
No, they're still in the
but were they not talking moving or trying to move?
Well, I was just going to
I
say.
don't think so. I think you're just trying.
You know, maybe I put them in planning permission for houses.
Did you hear that when you were up at Pataudry?
Yeah, I did. I passed by. That's what made me think about it. I'm thinking this isn't suitable for a championship club.
But there will be pressure on Mitch Megginson. He's done terrifically well, but his sidekick Rory McAllister.
I was just going to say one of my favourite stories of the summer. Now we know Scottish football cannot be outdone when it comes to the weird and wonderful. My goodness, we spoke about Livy Rangers. Apparently the lines were too thick on the pitch earlier on. Did you see this, Hugh? The reason that Rory McAllister was suddenly transfer listed and sold to Montrose?
No.
Jim McIntyre revealed it's because Rory McAllister booked a holiday during the season. So Jim McIntyre wasn't impressed. Off you pop.
Well, you can see the logic. I mean, it's professional football.
They were due to play Dundee in September, but Rory McAllister booked a holiday and he's now no longer a Cove Rangers player as a result.
Well, if you're looking for 100% commitment to the cause, you don't get it that way. You can't be 100% committed if you book a holiday in the middle of your work.
To be fair to him, I'm told he only booked the holiday because he couldn't get tickets for Lady Gaga.
Exactly. We're all so professional in here. None of us would miss the show on the opening day of the weekend to go and see Lady Gaga. Same can't be said for Mark Wilson.
No, I think one or two would if we could afford the tickets, but Wilson's the only one.
He always throws it about, doesn't he?
Unbelievable.
He lives a lavish lifestyle, that guy.
Then the most bizarre thing I've ever heard, he's I know he's not listening because he's obviously down in London, but there's a problem with Mark, you know, and we need to discuss it because
generally, or
he ends up in places like he's going to a park, to a cinema, and it's
you're right about that.
No, you are secret cinema or something.
Yeah, remember he got embroiled in some faulty towers dining experience. He's always into things like that, isn't he?
Yeah, he's.
Is he not going to see some movie, but you have to travel and watch the movie in an interactive.
You've got to get around
fashion.
The park.
You know, like if you don't go to the next location, you'll miss the scene in the film, something like that. It's a bizarre man.
And do you know what the film is?
No.
Nobody puts baby in the corner. Do you know what the one that is?
No.
Come on.
Right, I'll tell you what, at the break, Roger Hanna will lift you above his head, right? And we'll try and recreate the famous scene from Dirty Dancing.
Yeah,
Can you
but take
imagine?
off your glasses just in case it's smashed.
And your tie, get that wrapped around your head.
Vastly overrated.
That's the type of guy. That's the type of life that he lives. Nobody puts mushroom in the corner, eh?
Nobody puts the mushroom in the corner, but he certainly gets about. But he's not. Listen, Roger's come in, filled in, been brilliant.
Biscuits, good selection,
everything.
When he's down in that neck of the woods, is he known as Bristol City's Mark Wilson?
Yeah, I think so. A memorable spell for all the wrong reasons. Our old friend Alex Ray has not had a good start to the season. Blackpool have taken the lead against Reading.
Okay, we'll keep this sheet warm.
What we think?
Long now.
Well, we said that last season, and they got the job
Yeah,
permanently.
they did.
So there we go.
But it's a new season.
What are we thinking? Let's sort of roughly go through the other divisions. You can see the Premiership predictions on Twitter. I'm not going to take you through all the 30 of the other teams. Who do you fancy just at a glance to win the Championship and come straight up?
Dundee.
Yeah,
I think good things are happening under the new manager there. I know Partick.
Gary Bowyer.
Yeah, I know that Partick have signed good players in a forward going sense, and it was very interesting to see the outcome of that game today since they're playing each other. But I like Dundee.
Well, on the topic of the Championship, there's another team that are suddenly a Championship team and have got great ambition, and it's Queen's Park. They've gone up to Inverness and taken the lead. Grant Savoury on 13 minutes.
I was just going to mention them, Roger.
I was going to say Partick Thistle. for me. I think Ian McCall does a terrific job. He builds teams to be successful. He's had a couple of years now building this team. Maybe the one thing they lacked in the second half of last season was regular goals. And I think, he's kept Brian Graham, but he's added the likes of Tony Weston from Rangers, Danny Mullen, who did so well last season as well for Dundee. So he's got options there this season. Aidan Fitzpatrick's back at the club, as well as the likes of Scott Tiffany and Stephen Lawless, people like that. So I think the problems in turning the draws into wins could be solved.
Sorry, just quickly, Liam Polworth curled one wide from 20 yards for Kelly, a bit of space in behind the Dundee United back line. So one for Dundee, one for Partick Thistle.
Well, I sort of look at Roger, because I was down in Ayrshire business and I went in and watched Partick and
you do a lot of business round about the country,
League
don't
Cup,
you?
and I've got to say, I was very impressed with Partick that night. I thought they played some excellent football, looked well organised. Dundee, don't know a lot about. New manager coming in there, Ian Murray up at Wraith Rovers, they play exciting football, but I would say dark horses, Only Coils, Queen's Park maybe
to win the championship, come straight up.
Yeah, I think if they get to January and they're really in the mix, I think obviously financially they can go and add a bit of strength to that squad.
You know something, if it's down to enthusiasm, they'll certainly have a chance, because I spoke to Owen through the week and he was champing at it a bit. He took the team bus up yesterday up to the Highlands ahead of the Inverness game. He's not finished adding to the squad, as you said, as the bit of finance still there. He's hoping to add a couple more before the season is over. But just look, Grant Savoury's got a goal today. He's in a front four there. He's behind Simon Murray. They've got Dom Thomas, friend of the show, on one side. They're bringing quality up with them. They scraped through the playoffs. I think they were 27 points behind Cove last season, 21 behind Airdrie, finished second. But they beat Dunfermline, they beat Airdrie, they're up. They've tooled up a bit. I think they'll be fine.
Right, go on then. Who's in bother in the championship? Clyde have equalised against Queen of the South in League One. We'll get to that. Oliver McDonald. But who's in bother in the championship?
I think there could be a couple. I think Morton, they've lost a lot of players. I was reading an
and
interview.
They've gone 1-0 down to Hamilton Accies. Great timing. Andy Ryan, we had a game of golf with him, did we not, over the summer?
Yeah, I had Andy at Airdrie.
Surprised you remember that golf day, quite frankly, but we'll move on.
Yeah, it was a Sunday. It was a good day. Andy's he's been about those lower leagues, but the one thing he can do is he can score goals. He can score goals, a lad. And he's a good player, but I agree.
So to reinforce your point, Roger, you think Morton might struggle?
I think Morton can struggle. I was listening to Dougie Emery's interview through the week, and he was just reeling off the list of players that they've lost. I think he said they've only got 18 senior pros this season. Championship can be an unforgiving environment. The other team I would worry for would be, and I'll whisper it when Taz is about, Wraith Rovers.
Oh, I thought you were going to say United.
I don't know you whisper it. Why do you need to whisper?
Well, you're a legend there, Gordon.
Yeah, and I always will be. No matter where they go, if they go to League Two, I'll still be.
He's the type of guy that hopes they get relegated so they can't surpass the type of things that he did at the club.
No, listen, let me tell you, that's already cemented. They will never surpass the sort of things I did at the club. let's put that in writing.
I think we can agree on
Let's just put that in writing.
Well, Roger, there you are.
I still think there's a legacy from the David Goodwillie. I think they've lost John McGlynn, they've lost players.
The battle of your two favourites. Partick Thistle are 1-0 up at Dens, and it's Aidan Fitzpatrick that you mentioned who's taking the lead. So an early sign of intent. So you think Wraith are in trouble and Morton. Any others you want to throw into the mix?
No, I'm just thinking that may be the earliest I've killed off a team's chances.
Long way to go. League One is still remarkable in the sense that Dunfermline and Falkirk in some ways are far too big to be in that division. But what do you do if you're not very good at winning football games? That's where you deserve to be.
It's an absolute shame to see Dunfermline, East End Park. I can remember the great days and nights there to see them in the third tier of Scottish football, but I think they could get out and win. Is
this eventually the year that one of those two big clubs, well, Dunfermline come back up, or Falkirk eventually free themselves of League One? Or are you looking at the trajectory, the ambition of Kelty Hearts?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of clubs in there with a lot of ambition.
Airdrie were good last season.
Airdrie was good last season, but I need to tell Hugh just a quick story about Dunfermline. I come off a golf course at Leaving in Fife, and someone handed me a cup with my photo on it, and I hears a voice from the car park, and it's Jim Leishman. Now Jim is the best character I've ever met in football. Comes over in the car park in front of everybody and says, "What you got there, son?" I says, I've got my cup and my photo in it, right?
Called that.
So he then, in the middle of the car park, this true story, he then turns around and he shouts, "Bobby, open the car and bring that case over. So next minute I'm looking, he went, we'll get our 40 taken with your cup, son. I said, great, okay, Jim, not seen you for a while. Next minute the case opens. He's obviously got all these medals. He's the provost or something.
Yeah,
provost of
right. He get dressed in the cat. It took 10 minutes for all his jewellery and bling to come on. He went, that's what you call medals, son, no a wee cup.
Now, usually these things are ridiculous and sound made up, but the
true.
evidence is there.
That
It's
was
on
a
your
photo,
Instagram,
yeah, it's
isn't it?
on my
You've put the picture
Instagram,
up.
yeah.
A bit of a bizarre end to your round the golf. How is your Instagram lifestyle treating you? You still enjoying it? Still boring everyone with golf pictures every day?
I've taken a step back. I want people to be hungry. Sometimes you can give too much information out there. When you take a step back, you
leave them wanting more.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly,
sure.
Gordon, exactly. And
it's disgusting, actually.
All of a sudden, I'll be back on with a bang.
So you're taking the Fairmont to
Hopefully.
go up?
No, I didn't say it. No.
That was a roundabout way of giving us your League One prediction.
But we've got James McPake as manager now, haven't they?
Yeah.
And I thought James was hard done by at Dundee, and clearly there's a managerial talent in there, and I think that he and Dunfermline might just be a good fit.
I agree.
The most appropriate club for a manager named Paul Hartley is Hartlepool, and they're 1-0 down to Walsall. So the Scottish invasion of Hartlepool is taken. Jake Hasty and various others, Roger.
Yeah, starting today. I think Jake, as is Alexa Reagan, Tumulty, young Brodie Patterson, who's at Celtic. I think he's in the bench for them today. Long journey. They went down yesterday, down into the Midlands. It's a long journey everywhere if you're manager at Hartlepool, I'm afraid, in those lower leagues in England. He's looked up here for talent, and they'll need to dig him out a hole today.
Good, they're making it easy for me to cover off the divisions. Steny 1-up against Albion Rovers thanks to Thomas Orr. Again, well, we've already told you Dumbarton are 2-0 up early on against Stirling Albion. Got to give Bonnyrigg Rose a mention. They are now a professional club. They are now in our SPFL. They're in our top 4 divisions after winning the Lowland League last season and then the playoffs. We welcome them to our madhouse, Bonnyrigg Rose. They play Forfar today. Anything of note in that division that jumps out at you?
Dumbarton.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Just because they're 2-0 up on the opening day?
No, because I watched them against
So you
Aberdeen.
did, yeah.
I told you I'd done a bit of homework. I've been to Bonnyrigg Rose, played a pre-season friendly up there. Good setup, good people, bit like Kelty Hearts, very ambitious, got a couple of quid. They could be a big danger.
They're proof. The Kelty Hearts and the Bonnyrigg Roses of this world are proof that nothing is set in stone anymore in football. We have a system now whereby I never thought in my lifetime Bonnyrigg Rose would be a professional club, but good luck to them and good luck to Kelty Hearts.
I wonder, Roger, is there a temptation to lump these together? Because I always feel like when I've looked through Bonnyrigg Rose's team, they don't actually have the same sort of recognisable so-called big names or loads of names that have been in the senior ranks before and sort of dropped down. I feel like they've done it their own way.
Yeah, I mean, they were a junior team up until a few years ago, and they decided to join the pyramid and try and come through. They get into the Lowland League, they get through and won the Lowland League last season under the manager Robbie Horn. They've done terrifically well. I just wonder, I can't see them following Cove and Kelty and coming straight through the division. If you're asking me for a winner in that division, I think Annan. If you look, some of these teams come into the league and they do take a few seasons to settle, to find their feet and then kick on. Look at FC Edinburgh last season getting up through the playoffs. Annan did really well to get a draw at St Johnstone in the Cup. They topped a group that involved St Johnstone, Ayr and Queen of the South. I think Annan could be the team to go up this season.
Hugh, let's check in on your teaser then. Give us the question, please.
Yes. Since season 1998-99, there have been 6 Finnish players who played at least 3 times in the Premiership for either Celtic or Rangers. Who are they?
I must admit, most of the answers are going to be close, because you're not going to know loads of Finnish players to get them wrong. So most people are giving it a good go. You do need to get them all, remember, at Clyde SSB. And I'm not seeing too many of the wrong answers. Alan Hollinsworth wants to throw in a very well known one in Mixu Patalainen.
No, I'm afraid you can throw it back out again.
Might as well get rid of him. I'll tell you what, other than that, pretty good effort, but not many people are getting them all right. So get thinking at Clyde SSB and send your answers over. Dave's gone Serge Atakai.
Nope.
Don't think he played 3 for Rangers. He did play once, is that right? But he's not got He's not past the threshold. We've had the woodwork hit for the first time by Ross County. Craig Gordon was beaten. Dominic Samuel hits the post with a header, and Sim could not turn the rebound into the net. So a bit of a let off for Hearts, who I'm sure many people expect to get their league off to a winning start today.
Well, look at Hearts now. They've got the club totally stabilised. They've got money in the background. They've got Robbie Nielsen, a 3-year extension to his contract with Lee McCulloch. They were very worthy third place last season. They're looking to not build on it, because I don't believe they can split Celtic and Rangers, but they're looking to maintain that position as the third force in Scottish
Does it
football.
bring a little bit of extra pressure, Hugh, in the fact that last year the season they had Scottish Cup final runner-up, they finished third?
Hard
they were
to
excellent.
surpass that.
Yeah.
They have Europe to look forward to, though.
Yeah.
Guaranteed until
New
Christmas.
contract for the manager.
Well,
Sometimes it brings that little bit added pressure.
they brought in
Maybe
Lauren
you're
Shankland.
right. 23 minutes in, and the fans are already showing their frustration, says Fraser Wishart.
Is Halliday on the bench?
He is.
Could you imagine walking through a park with him? It would take forever, wouldn't it?
I
We'll
think
just sit on that bench. We'll go.
I think this is the story of Scottish football now, though, Gordon. I mean, the crowds are great. Kilmarnock playing today, they've sold 5,000 season tickets. Wonderful. Hearts are planning a Tynecastle that does not contain many Celtic or Rangers fans when they go to play there, because they want it to be about the Hearts fans, and they know they can sell the tickets. Hibs are that way, Motherwell are that way. St Mirren have said they'll only give one stand to Celtic and Rangers this season. But with the additional crowds has come an additional
Pressure.
demand. People have no patience now.
Well, the visiting crowd will be loving it at Dens Park. Partick Thistle 2, Dundee nil. Partick Thistle 2. Stephen Lawless with the goal on 24 minutes. So a wonderful start to the campaign for Ian McCall's side. And now Ross County have hit the crossbar. So they've hit the post and the bar. Owura Edwards, it was a curling shot, 20 yards, dipped over Craig Gordon and back off the crossbar. Paul Hartley's not getting off to a good start. Walsall are 2-0 up.
Am I correct, Roger? You're better at this than me. Last season, did Ross County not have a terrific first half at Tynecastle?
Oh, I thought you were going to say start to the season.
No,
And they had a dreadful start to the
at
season.
Tynecastle, one of the games they had a terrific start, and then I think Hearts played a lot better in the second half. Am I correct in that, Roger?
I actually
Just
can't remember
nod your
that.
head.
I'll take your word for it.
That sounds great. Anyway, Stranraer 1, Annan 0. Paul Woods with the penalty. Stranraer taking the lead in that one. A drinks break at Tynecastle. So
Oh, the Lars Red.
Fraser Wishart will know these things. It does have to go past a certain temperature, does it not?
Fraser will be getting the strawberry daiquiri delivered to the press box.
Unless someone is just unless someone's just down injured and it's an impromptu one. I'm not sure if it's one of the official drinks breaks, but anyway, a big chance for Hibs. Cabraca cross for Henderson, and he volleys wide from 8 yards out. So a chance for Lee Johnson's side to get up and running.
Well, I'm just looking at that Partick Thistle result again. It's a great one for scoreline. It's great for Ian McCall. I'd love to see Partick Thistle back up in the main division.
Not too far to travel, that's what you mean.
No, yeah, I can get the number 17 bus right to the door.
Interestingly enough, so I told you already, my sister got married during the summer, and the wedding was not too far from your house.
Yeah.
Not too far at all.
Oh, I know the place you're talking about.
That was the sort of main topic of conversation. It was like my ready-made reply, because look, you lot are superstars, so everyone wants to talk about you anywhere I go. So after the drinks started, going down, a lot of people would say, "Where's Hugh Keevins?" As if he would be here. Why would he be?
Get the boys down to his house.
Well, that was sort of I said, well, he only lives down the road. Well, we go and chat that. Oh, they like that. They like that as they like that as an option. Needless to say, we never did.
Get the neighbourhood watch on them.
But this is what it's like. I went to the Open as well on the Thursday. Fantastic, by the way. Absolutely, what a day it is.
Yeah.
What a setup. You don't see much golf because you're a couple 100,000 people, but what a setup it was. And towards the end of the evening, again, who am I to point the finger, but I'd say that gentleman had been enjoying the beer tent.
Yeah.
And as he sort of staggered towards me and then eventually fixed the gaze, they realised, Gordon, Super Scoreboard Hugh Keevins is a specky tube, and on he went. So your legend follows you everywhere. But of course you are a taxpayer in the East Neuk of Fife, aren't you? With
Yes.
the old holiday home up there.
In Einster. I took the grandkids up one day, and I had to stop at East End Park to do a game, and my wife had the car, and you mentioned the great man Leash was still working at the Dunfermline at the time, and he came out, "Hey, does and opened
He had a sore throat.
opened the back seat to the door where the children were sitting, and he put his head in the car, and the two of them screamed.
That was not an official drinks break. There's been an injury already, first one of the season, I guess, forced into the change in the 3 o'clock games. Nathaniel Atkinson off injured, and Grant has come on. Is it Jorge Grant? Does he get the full pronunciation, or is he just George with a J?
No.
Jorge Grant has come
He's
on
not the general. Only
for
one job.
for his league debut. That's feedback courtesy of Fraser Wishart there, who is enjoying the game at
injuries,
Tynecastle.
and Halliday's still not getting on.
I know. I actually meant to ask you, did you have a tear in your eye when you heard that your colleague on here, Andy Halliday, had decided to get on board with your favourite way of life, marriage, over the summer?
Oh, I didn't know
It's one of
that.
your favourite hobbies, of course, and he eventually popped the question over the summer. It made the headlines. It was in Rogers' newspaper.
Seriously?
Big
Is
news.
that his first one?
Yes.
Oh, he's an amateur. Wait till he gets by 3. That's when you can start puffing your chest out.
He's not married yet, though, is he?
No,
Yeah.
just putting the wheels in motion.
'Cause I said to him,
Ah, right. So he's not married yet.
No, I said he
He's in
popped
the-
the question. You just don't listen.
Got engaged in Mexico.
Ah, that's nonsense.
I sent him a text message when he was on the programme Monday night, and I said, "Do you need a speechwriter?"
I think he said you're the best man. That's the talk of the town. He's not actually.
That's 2 rings. You just get married. 1 ring, boom. Don't get the engagement ring. That's too long.
Just get married.
Yeah,
How'd
you
you do
don't
that?
start that nonsense. Well, you don't say, "Oh, we'll get engaged," and all that. You go, right, okay. Look, what you doing? What you doing in March? Not doing much, right? Keep that Saturday free. We're getting ourselves hitched.
I'm told you get married in the morning all the time, so that if it didn't work out, you'd have the rest of the date yourself.
I love it. Honestly, I wish I could get married. I love my weddings. It's the one thing in my life that I really, really appreciated. I throw a great wedding. I really do.
Ever thought about becoming a wedding planner?
Nah,
Fancy that? Or do you like it when you're the centre of
Oh
attention?
yeah, I've got to be
Oh, I knew
the
you would be.
number one.
Oh,
I
I
don't
knew it.
care if she walks down a boiler suit, right? It's all about me. I'm not looking round to see that lovely dress.
Who says romance is dead, eh? Roger Hanna. He is.
I
He's one of
love
the
a
greats.
wedding. I do.
Honestly, you just think the great romantic quotes of all time, they just roll off the tongue of Robbie Burns. And I don't care if she walks down the aisle in a boiler suit. Gordon Dalziel,
I'm just thinking
July 2022.
the great moment in Casablanca when Humphrey Bogart looks into the lady's eyes and says, "Here's looking at you, kid." You would have said, "Here's looking at me, kid."
Nice boiler suit, by the way. Anyway, yes, he got engaged over the summer.
Ah, well done,
Congratulations. I assume he's
congratulations.
not listening. Peterhead 0, Airdrieonians 1, Callum Smith with the goal. If we're talking about our snap pre-season judgments, and I did mention the 32 minutes of the Stirling Albion game that I witnessed last week, Peterhead, if that was anything to go by, are in for a torrid time.
Are they winning?
They're the league they're getting beat. They're the league above Stirling Albion. They lost 3-0. They didn't lay a glove, and they only named 3 subs. So
Roger
I
Hanna
would
has
have my
got a
concerns.
full house on the teaser. He's just shown me his answers.
Of course he
He's
does.
got all 6 correct
By the
already.
way, Craig Gordon with a good save. It's Ross County who are the most likely to score here. Jamie McAllister, Hibs new number 2. You'll remember him from Scottish football. He's been booked. Hibs are the better team in that game. Remind us of your question then, Hugh.
Yeah, since season 1998-99, there have been 6 Finnish players who played at least 3 times in the Scottish Premiership for either Celtic or Rangers, and Roger Hanna knows the lot.
Yeah, it's a very good question. The clue I will give you, there is 1 current player at Rangers. That should be very easy. There's a goalkeeper in there. You always say there's a goalkeeper in the list, Gordon Dalziel. So keep them coming at Clyde SSB. I'll tell you who's won that very soon. Kelty Hearts 0, FC Edinburgh, not Edinburgh City, FC Edinburgh. Remember, John Robertson, not that one. with the goal on 34
Bruni's
minutes.
now behind.
Yeah.
Rooney.
Port Vale 2, Fleetwood 1. Scott Brown not going so well in his league debut there, but Kelty Hearts up, full of ambition.
Airdrie one up as well. Dan, you were pleased with that?
Yeah. I like to see my old clubs doing well. They were unlucky at the last year. I thought they were, pipped at the post, obviously, but lost their manager. Rhys McCabe is player manager. Am I right in saying
Aged
29.
incredible, isn't it?
that? Yeah.
29 years of age.
Yes.
If I am older than managers in the league, we are banging bother. We've been through all this with Hugh Keevins many times over the years, but when that will be the first. This must be the first time in our recent Super Scoreboard history we've got a manager younger than me. That's a problem.
Well, he made the fatal mistake of doing a newspaper interview in which he said, "This is a young man's game now. The age of the dinosaur has passed." He then went and played Arbroath and lost 3-0 to 69-year-old Dick Campbell.
There you are.
Did he actually say that? I didn't
Yes,
see that.
I
over the summer.
read the piece.
Strange. Well, Kelty Hearts 1-0 down. Interesting summer for them, Roger. You get these examples every now and then where you win the league and everything's going well, but then the manager leaves. I think, was it didn't Livy when they came up? Was it David Hopkin got them up and then wasn't there for the start of the new season? Didn't do them much harm, but John Potter replaced Kevin Thompson.
I actually assumed at the time that Kevin Thompson was maybe going to walk into another job. There were vacancies at the time at Dundee, Dunfermline, Wraith Rovers as well. And when that carousel had stopped turning, Gordon, he hadn't landed a seat anywhere. So Kelty start a new era in League One with John Potter at the helm. I think League One will be a real learning curve for them, as you mentioned. Dunfermline, Falkirk, Airdrie, teams like that, hardened teams like Montrose with Rory McAllister. So that push through the divisions might be halted for a season or two yet for Kelty.
The vacancy at Motherwell.
Yeah.
Well, we might get to them very soon indeed, because we
It
will
was
preview.
mentioned in dispatches.
We will preview tomorrow's games indeed before the end of the show. And in fact, the open line, don't forget, Celtic fans, it would be great to hear from you how you're feeling about Flag Day. Looking forward to going along. What will be the first lineup of the new season? And Motherwell fans, you're going into the first game of the season without a manager. Incredible to think that, but that's Scottish football for you. Never short on drama. So 01419511025. Take the number down and give us a call at full time. Still no goals though, in case anyone's keeping count in the Premiership. We've had some decent chances, but no goals in the 3 o'clock games.
Oh, that surprises me. If only because you'd have thought Hearts at home in front of a big crowd, new contract for the manager, Lawrence Shankland having played.
Sorry, he's just
signed a
choking.
new contract.
I think he's just choked on a Fox's Crunch Golden Cream or whatever it's called. Carry on.
But
So
anyway, it would appear the story of the first half appears to be that it's Ross County who are on top. Then we have St Johnstone and all of their new players against a Hibs side who are looking to get off to a good start, but it's goalless. And Kilmarnock, I thought Dundee United would assert themselves there, but even Stephen.
Not the first time I'll ask this question this season. Are you okay?
Yeah, sorry. Just got something caught in the back of my throat there, Gordon. I'm not surprised that we're not getting a lot of goals. I just think the first game of the season, you want to make sure you're still in the game. You want to make sure that you can try and at least start with a point. Bonus one is if you start with 3 points, that'd be brilliant. Get your season up and running. I thought looking at these games, of course everyone looked at Tynecastle and thought, yeah, Hearts will probably go and come out the blocks firing and overrun Ross County, but Ross County have been excellent. But the other games I'm not really surprised at all. I think it'll be very tight, even the second half.
As you know, I'm not often in here on a Saturday. I'm usually around the grounds, Daz. I'm fascinated by this. During the first game, you've spilled a coffee down yourself. During the second game, you nearly choked on a Crunch Cream. What do you do during the phone-in?
This is just a regular day for him in the office, to be quite honest, isn't it?
You cannot. Yeah. I was producer Chris getting his own back. I don't like the boy, I've said it, and I've never hidden it. But he brought my coffee in, he loosened my lid, and as I took a sip, it went down me. But I just think it's one of those weekends, Gordon, that I'm looking forward to tomorrow as well. I'm looking forward to second half. I'm looking forward to hearing what the boys are saying in the grounds. I like listening to their half-time reports. It really, I like to know their insight of how it's going and who's a better team, and it's St Johnstone players settling in. Obviously David Frail tells that. How's Hibs looking attacking wise, pace, Kilmarnock, Dundee United, and obviously great expertise from Tynecastle from Fraser.
Get you back out to a few games this season, do you think?
No, can't be bothered.
Fancy it?
I've covered too many miles this pre-season, looking at games, Aberdeen, Kilmarnock and Partick and teams like that. Fir Park last Thursday broke my heart. I think I just jinxed the game.
Did you hear the story about the press room door, Roger Hannah?
No.
Have you heard this? No. So he goes to the game at Fir Park last Thursday, the home game.
Sat in with the fans,
as
Roger.
usual, giving it the big I am at half time. Doesn't want to wait in the queue for the pie stall, so he thinks, I know how I'll play this. Famously good spread. I am a member of the media in this. I'll go into the press room, I'll nick a couple of bits of the pakora, and I'll go and enjoy the second half. So he's come outside, marched round to the press room door, where he's banging on the press room door. The steward shouts, "Oh, what do you think you're doing?" "I'm trying to get into the press room for some pakora." Of course, that used to be the press room 2 years ago, pre-COVID, and has not been the press room for 2 years. And there he was, locked out, banging on the door, demanding to be let into a room that no longer exists.
But I've now got the problem, Hugh, that as Gordon said there, I'm now locked out. I'm out the stadium, right? So the person, the security says, "You're not getting back in here if you go out. Don't worry, son, I'm in the press room, I'll nip up the stand." Press room's not on. So the second half's about to start, and I'm standing in the middle of the road.
So you did what anyone else would do and went up the road?
No, I went straight in. I'm prepared to pay again.
First red card of the new season. Hamilton Accies, Sean Want a second booking after 40 minutes. That's not ideal. They are a goal up though, aren't they? Last time we checked.
I'm
Thanks
imagining
to Andy Ryan.
Conversation between the Dazzler and the steward, when Dazzler says to the steward, "Do you know who I am?"
I never say that.
And the
That's
steward
kind of what you
says,
were. That's kind of what you were getting
I
at.
never say that. I always pull out my driving licence.
and the steward says,
Bus pass.
"Do you know where you are?"
I would like to thank the steward for helping me out, and he let me back in. And I found out now it's a code, which I'm not too happy about. Still didn't get in, but I watched this. In fact, I'm now regretting that I did get back in after the result in the performance.
It's been quite the summer for him, Hugh. Did you hear about the knife incident?
No.
When he
Salad knife.
stabbed himself in the head.
Takes a bit of doing that.
Bent down to put something in the washing machine, stood up, felt something banging on his head, stood up, and there was a knife sticking out of his forehead. His granddaughter's in tears, distraught at the image, because it was hanging off the edge of the draining board. It is a miracle that he's made it to 60. It genuinely is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a terrifying moment, Hugh, I've got to say.
A walking domestic accident.
Unbelievable.
The hardest bit was trying to describe to Mark Wilson what a salad knife is.
Never mind, right, we move on. Seriously,
I don't think you're going to get an invite to Andy Halliday's wedding. I can't.
Nah, I can't see it. I must admit, I think you're right on that. Right, Morton have now equalised. Was that anything to do with the
sending up penalty kick maybe?
And we've got the first one of these in the Premiership.
Goal Flash with Clyde Built Home Improvements.
Kilmarnock 0, Dundee United 1, and it's Dylan Levitt. A lot of fanfare around bringing him back to Tannadice in the summer, and that is why he scored a few screamers for United last season, and he's popped up with another great strike on the opening day, living up to all the hype in pre-season. He scored one, a cracker against Kilmarnock last season, and he's done it again. Dylan Levitt makes it Kilmarnock 0, Dundee United 1.
I remember him scoring a great goal against Celtic on the night that Celtic won the league at Tannadice last season with the Georgie Giamakis header. But Dylan Levitt's equaliser was fantastic. And when your backstory is Manchester United, and then for Dundee United to get you, it's great business.
I've got to say, Gordon, I wasn't kidding. I did watch Kilmarnock against Partick, and I know it was the Premier Sports Cup section group, and I thought that they looked very poor indeed. I thought, and I'm not taking anything away from Partick, but I've put them in at 11th, just above St Johnstone. Look, it's still a lot to go. They've got a good following, of course they have. The good support down there. Derek's a very experienced manager, knows what he's doing. Great backroom staff as well. But I just think this will be a settling in season for him. I think this will be a difficult season for Kilmarnock.
I think this is more about Dundee United's recruitment though, Roger, because by all accounts it's a wonderful finish from Dylan Levitt, lashes it high into the roof of the net. We know he's got that in his locker, but expert link-up play as well from a man who made a career out of it in Stephen Fletcher. He just held on to it. He eventually rolled it back to Dylan Levitt, sort of back heel, rolled it back the way, and Levitt providing the finish. Two really, really good signings on the face of it.
Yeah, two guys with vastly contrasting backstories, if you like, but there's no shortage of talent. I mean, Stephen Fletcher has had a wonderful career after leaving Hibs and down there in all the English divisions, and now at 35 still has something to give Dundee United.
And what do they say about a bad time to concede? It's half time at Rugby Park. Here's Gabriel.
Half time, it's Kilmarnock 0, Dundee United 1 at Rugby Park. A thunderous strike from Dylan Levitt just before the break gives the visitors the advantage. It was an even game to start with, both teams right up for it, as you'd expect on the opening day. United were keeping the ball well early on. Levitt was controlling the game for a while, but then space began to appear behind the United defence. Liam Polworth of Kilmarnock curled just wide from 20 yards. There was a few other chances for Paul. He's had 3 shots on goal, 2 of them straight at Mark Birighitti in the United goal. There was a dangerous free kick in the 27th minute for United. Sibbald was fouled, and then a save. It was the open side, hit straight at Walker by Charlie Mulgrew. It was parried wide. But you have to say, Killie have had most of the chances. 8 shots they've had in the first half, but can't find a way through. And then in the 44th minute, against the run of play, Dylan Levitt put that thunderous strike on his first permanent game as a United player, firing them ahead. The ball broke to Stephen Fletcher, also making his full United debut in the box. He took his time. He could have rolled it to Cudjoe, but he deceived the defence with a nice little soft back heel roll. And Levitt, as we saw last season, got a great strike on him. He's hammered it into the roof of the net, and it was 1-0 to the visitors. The worst time to concede possibly for Kilmarnock. And then 1 minute to go, straight into the tunnel for the two teams. I must say that Ryan Alabusi has had lots of marauding runs for Killie as well. He's gotten 6 or 7 times. He's looked really dangerous, but no final ball just yet. Killie have had the better of the chances for sure, but United are leading, and it's now up to Killie and Derek McInnes to try and change that. Half-time here at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock 0, Dundee United 1.
Are we still waiting on the other half-time whistles? I think we are. Brief reaction to that one then, Hugh?
Well, I thought Dundee United would do well there today. I think, again, I mentioned about the midfield, Harps, Levitt, and Sibbald. I just get the feeling Jack Ross is a safe pair of hands, and I had the feeling he would pick up where Tam Coates left off in 4th place, and I think he'll get 4th place again. As the Dazzler said earlier on, Kilmarnock have to feel their way into this season. They're first up.
Half time at Tynecastle as well. Let's hear from Fraser Wishart.
Hearts 0, Ross County 0, no goals, and not the first 45 minutes Robbie Neilson have wanted for this new season. After a decent start, they lost their way, and all the best chances fell to County, who have been excellent. Hit the woodwork twice. They created a few chances. Hearts, the closest they came to scoring was the 8th minute, when Lawrence Shankland was not far away with a dipping shot from 30 yards, but that was when Hearts were hitting on the break, and you've hardly seen Shankland with the ball near the Ross County goal. But there was warning signs for Hearts immediately after that shot. Long ball over the top. Edwards came in off the left hand flank. He was in behind the centre backs, and as he controlled the ball, it fell to Hewula, who shot wide from 20 yards. County just happy to drop off and allow Hearts possession. They used the pace and the break and left back. Ben Purrington broke into the box. His shot was certainly on target, deflected just over from a last gasp tackle by Michael Smith. But Hearts, no tempo to the game, passing too slow, hardly near the County box despite the possession. From then on, it was all one way, it was all County. 23rd minute, Edwards again cut inside, right foot cross from the left hand side, flicked header by Dom Samuel, had beaten Craig Gordon, hit the post, came back across the face of goal, and Josh Sims somehow free, nobody near him, he couldn't turn the ball home, and he went out for a goal kick. Hearts fans not happy, and even more so when 2 minutes later Edwards again cut inside and curled a brilliant 20-yard shot, dipping over Gordon, who was beaten again, and the ball hit the bar. Gordon saved from Hewula, who found space in the box, low shot, good save by the goalkeeper to his left, and then a blow for Hearts when Atkinson limped off, although he was being given a hard time by the pacey Edwards, and Smith moved to right back and Grant into the midfield. But no change to the pattern of the game as Craig Gordon had to make another 2 routine saves, but that was a sign of the direction of the game. County in and around Hearts' box all the time and looked more likely to scoring. Hearts hardly near Ross County's penalty area, and they're going to have to up the tempo in the second half if they're going to get anything out of this. And I think we might see Liam Boyce very soon, as the pace of the County front three has caused problem after problem for the Hearts back three. Half time at Tynecastle, Hearts 0, Ross County 0.
It's also half time at McDermott Park. Let's speak to David Friel.
Half time, Gordon St Johnstone 0, Hibs 0. No goals here, not even a single shot on target. But I'd say Lee Johnson will definitely be the happier manager. After some promising stuff from Hibs overall, the visitors started with real intent. They took the game to St Johnstone. Elias Melkerson and Jair Tavares, they were really lively in both wings, but they struggled to create clear-cut chances probably. Nolan Kenny fired over the bar from 22 yards earlier on, but Saints defended pretty well with that new look backline. It took Hibs 28 minutes to create their first real opening when Marian Cabraja picked out Ewan Henderson at the back post. The midfielder can normally finish, but he got this one horribly wrong as he volleyed wide from 8 yards. Tavares was giving Ryan McGowan a really hard time in the left and found a yard in the box 2 minutes later, but he also fired over the bar. St Johnstone have forced a few corners but haven't really threatened at all. As we spoke about earlier on, they very much are a work in progress. Hibs are definitely on top, but need to find that cutting edge in the second half. Half time at McDermott Park, St Johnstone 0, Hibs 0.
We will give you a full roundup of the half time scores and the winners of the first half teaser next.
The fastest goals, the experts' opinions. This is Clyde One Super Scoreboard. Clyde One's Super Scoreboard podcast with Taggart's Volvo, part of the Lookers family. Enter your reg number and get a free instant valuation with Click and Sell.
It's really simple to make finding cheap motor insurance easier. You just go to mustard.co.uk. They compare policies from leading insurance providers to find you quotes that really do cut the mustard. Plus, with their cheapest online price guarantee, why go anywhere else? Make finding cheap motor insurance easier. Compare today with mustard.co.uk. T's and C's apply. Details online. Authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority.
Clyde One's Super Scoreboard podcast with Taggart's Land Rover, part of the Lookers family, one of the largest franchised dealer groups in the UK. Scottish football's league leader. This is Clyde One's Super Scoreboard.
I won't make you wait any longer. I know you're all sitting in suspense for the first half teaser answers and winners, so let's do it.
The first half teaser
with the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
Since season 1998-99, there have been 6 Finnish players who have played at least 3 times in the Scottish Premiership for either Celtic or Rangers. They are Antti Niemi, Jonathan Johansson, Wani Karpila, Timu Pukki, Tero Pentila and Glenn Kamara.
Wow, some names from the past on there. Roger Hanna, Gordon Dalziel's not heard of at least half of them. Do I fill them in?
Well, a couple of them were signed by Dick Advocat for Rangers. Tero Pentila was a centre half, Jari Karpila midfielder, came over, didn't really pull up many trees the way that Antti Niemi and Jonathan Johansson had before them. Timo Pukki, you know well, and of course Glenn Kamara we saw this afternoon in a winning Rangers team.
Absolutely, I really liked that teaser to get us up and running. I must admit, the podium, the first one of the new season, what an honour. I mean, if you're one of these 3 guys, you are going to be out and about tonight telling everyone that you made the podium on the first half teaser of the season. Mark Robson, well done to you, sir. You get the bronze medal, 3rd fastest. Chrissy Petrakis was in 2nd place, and the winner of the first half teaser was Jay McCormick. Well done to you, Jay. You need good knowledge to get those right, and you all did it, and very quickly as well. We've got a cracking second half teaser as well coming up. A Who Am I?
Yep.
Hugh Keevins has done a lot of research
if Roger gets this one in jig time, I'll be surprised.
Yes, tough, I've already looked at it, but let's not spoil the surprise too much. Let's have a look at the scores, shall we? Round about the country at the moment. Full time result: Livy 1, Rangers 2. At half time it's Hearts 0, Ross County 0. It's Kilmarnock 0, Dundee United 1, and St Johnstone 0, Hibs 0. We'll go down the divisions as well, because all 4 SPFL leagues start today. So into the Championship: Ayr 0, Arbroath 0, Cove Rangers 1, Wraith Rovers 0, Dundee 0, Partick Thistle 2, Hamilton 1, Morton 1, and Inverness 1, Queen's Park 1. Into League 1, it's Dunfermline 0, Alloa 0, Falkirk 0, Montrose 0, Kelty Hearts 0, FC Edinburgh 1, Peterhead 0, Airdrieonians 2, and Queen of the South 1, Clyde 2. And into League 2 then, this afternoon, Bonnyrigg Rose, their first game in the SPFL, goalless at the break against Forfar. Dumbarton 2, Stirling Albion 0, Elgin 0, East Fife 2, Stenhousemuir 1, Albion Rovers 0, and Stranraer 1, Annan Athletic 0. So that is your half-time scores. Anything that jumps out at you at the break, Roger Hannah?
Well, you have to say Dundee United, because it's the only goal in the Premiership in the first half. A terrific goal by all accounts from Dylan Levitt, and it just shows why Dundee United were so keen to get him back. He went back to Old Trafford the tail end of last season in the hope of catching Eric Ten Hag's eye. Eric Ten Hag, you can imagine, is looking at a player of a higher calibre and someone who can make an immediate impact to his team. But Dylan Levitt is a high calibre for Dundee United, is making an immediate impact on his return, and you wonder how important he'll be in this European game on Thursday.
The thing that jumps out to me is at Tynecastle, when I hear that obviously the Hearts fans expect a lot more, a bit of unrest after 26 minutes, I think.
County could be 3-0 up.
Yeah, exactly. So I think Robbie Nielsen will be in that dressing room saying, look, we need a reaction here, because it's important, especially at home. Opening game of season, you've signed a new contract, expectations are very high at Tynecastle. They need a lift in that, the second half.
They finished the season playing Rangers in the Scottish Cup final, and I thought they were very, very disappointing on that day. Rangers more than deserved to win the cup, but it was all going so well. The management team signed new 3-year deals. Lawrence Shankland came in from Belgium, and everyone spoke about what a difference he's going to make. And now you've got a situation where fans turn very quickly. We've already witnessed it in Sligo on Thursday night, where the fans turned on Graham Alexander, and Motherwell had no option but to get rid of him the following day. No other option. I'm not saying that Robbie Nielsen's in trouble, of course he's not, but there'll be an immediately negative reaction if Hearts don't get all 3 points today.
Yeah, it's what you would consider a certainly winnable opening league game, Roger.
Yeah.
You're at home, you've got a team that finished a good bit below you last season, albeit they had a good season. Hearts fans had big expectations today.
They were outstanding last season. Fraser touched upon it. Any team coming into the Premiership from the Championship, getting third place by the length of Princess Street, qualifying for Europe, reaching the cup final, guaranteed 8 European games, as Fraser was saying earlier. It's a remarkable achievement. However, the season did peter out in the last 6 weeks after they sealed third place. I think they knocked out Hibs in the semi-final, didn't they? The great Andy Halliday derby when he scored twice in the league at Tynecastle as well. But after that, it sort of petered out. They lost to that young Rangers team in the last league game at Tynecastle. They lost to Rangers in the cup final. They lost John Souttar. And sometimes it can be difficult to maintain those standards, and it certainly looks as if in the first 45 minutes they found it difficult.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. But a great start all around the country. You look at early moves in the Championship. Look, nothing's decided in the first half, but Partick Thistle laying down their intentions. Yeah,
and we spoke earlier about the goal threat that Ian McCall's built. Now the two wide guys today, Aidan Fitzpatrick and Stephen Lawless, have provided the goals up there at Dens. That will be as tough an opening start as Thistle could probably have landed, and of course they'll be loving it, because the tickets that were issued to their fans through the week said Dundee versus Partick Thistle.
They did indeed. Second half not far away, but still plenty of team talks to be done up and down the country, as you can imagine. Managers in there earning their keep. In fact, the players back out yet at Rugby Park? I don't think so. You don't mind that, Gordon, when you're a sub in this weather. You're just on there, a couple of keepy uppies, kick the ball about, pretend you're interested. It's in the winter when it's a bit harder.
It didn't happen to me a lot, but occasionally when you did have to,
Is that because you played in the era when before subs?
No, there was only 2 subs at the time when I played, Gordon. But
Fraser was one of them.
Yeah, he had his own tracksuit. But they don't need to do a lot. They'll just be hoping for a call from the dugout.
Yeah, let's go back to Tynecastle. How restless are we talking in that first half, Fraser?
Yeah, pretty restless. I mean, they weren't at the stage of booing and a couple of people shouting come on at Robbie Nielsen. It was just a kind of general sort of getting angry at the players in general, not specific, especially when Ross County were getting in behind. They were doing it all day. As saying earlier, they plenty of possession, Hearts in the midfield areas, but then when they were robbed, just knocking the ball in behind. And then all of a sudden Edwards and Hawula, very impressive, very quick and strong. And the Hearts fans were just kind of turning on the players a wee bit. I mean, it's not bad, but I tell you, if the 90 minutes continue, or I think 45 continue the same way, I think they will be unhappy, because Ross County will win the game. You can only see one team winning it, and I said Liam Boyce might make an early appearance, but he's still warming up just in front of us here, so I don't see that happening immediately. But yeah, they're getting a bit restless, and it's interesting Hugh's comments about the Motherwell supporters as well, and I think that's the modern world. We're talking about the turnover of players in the summertime before the game, and that's because managers only have a short space of time before they get the heave-ho. And looking at all the managers and how many were actually in post at the start of last season, less than a half, I would imagine. So these managers know they've got to get things done quickly, and Robbie Nielsen's not in a shaky nail at all, in fact far from it, but he'll want to get a victory. He'll want to look at Mackay Steer and their boys and try and get a victory that'll make the fans go home happy.
Second halves are getting underway. Are we still in the break at McDermott Park, David Friel?
Yes, we are, Gordon, still there. So Hibs and St Johnstone subs out warming up. I don't expect many changes, to be honest with you. Maybe St Johnstone in attack. Theo Bears had a bit of a thankless task against Ryan Porteous and Rocky Bashiri. St Johnstone just don't really carry a goal threat at all. Hibs, I think, be more of the same, just with cutting edge. As I said earlier on, Tavares has been good, Melkerson been good, Ewan's shown some nice touches, Joe Newell, really classy player in the middle of the park, Ewan Henderson as well. There's definitely goals in the team, they just need to find that cutting edge in the second half. They've definitely been on top, and they're shooting towards the away end in the second half as well, so could be a big half for Lee Johnson.
The Super Scoreboard podcast is sponsored by Taggart's Motor Group. Taggart's have Jaguar, Land Rover and Volvo showrooms across Glasgow and the West, so you can find the new or used approved car that's right for you. And as Taggart's are part of the Lookers family, one of the largest franchise dealer groups in the UK, you can browse thousands of nearly new and used vehicles in stock nationwide to find your perfect vehicle. They've also launched Click and Sell. It makes selling your car simple by using their trusted dealer network of over 150 sites. Why not give it a go today? See how much you could make on your old car. Taggart's have Land Rover showrooms in Motherwell, Darnley and the north of Glasgow, with their Jaguar and Volvo showrooms found in Hillington. Check out taggarts.co.uk to get your new or used approved Land Rover, Jaguar or Volvo today. Now let's get back to the podcast.
Clyde One Super Scoreboard Goal Flashes with Clyde Built Home Improvements. Cambuslang showroom now open to the public.
And just like that, we're underway already. That first half was quick. Of course, we already had a victory for Rangers at Livingston early on in the day. Dundee United are on course, but still in the balance, and the other two games very much in the balance as well. So there's lots to look forward to between now and just before 5 o'clock. And then, well, it's the main event, isn't it? It's your chance to give whatever knee-jerk reaction you want to the first day of the season. You all got all that pent-up emotion from over the summer. Hugh Keevins, and then you get to release it on the first day and slaughter the new signings or go overboard and say that you're going to win the league. We'll find out.
Well, as I say, people are harsh now. It's a coarse environment. They will not suffer setbacks and disappointments without having their say. And I think the talking points from the Rangers game will be the flat performance in the first half, the performance of Antonio Cholak up front. Was it right that his headed goal should have been disallowed for offside? I don't think it was offside. They will also want to discuss Tillman coming on and making a big change to the game for Rangers. But they will be glad that Rangers got the 3 points, because if Giovanni Van Bronckhorst said that there were 3 vital points on the first game of a 38-game season, that tells you there is no margin for error in his eyes.
Alan Power doing Alan Powery things and getting booked for a challenge on the edge of the box. This one on Tony Watt, quite a cynical one. So there will be a chance for Charlie Mulgrew with the free kick, but he hits it over the bar. So Dundee United still leading in that one.
That would be, if they could get 3 points down there, a bit terrific result for Dundee United, especially away from home, opening game this season. Still a lot of football to be played. I'm sure, just listening to the guys around the grounds, I'm sure we're going to get goals, Gordon. Nervy first 45. Yep.
Okay.
I'm sure we're going to get goals.
I hope you're right. Let's see if we get some answers to this as well, Hugh.
The second half teaser.
With the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I have played alongside Kane Woolery, Jack Butland and Darren Bent. I've been managed by Mickey Mellon and Chris Houghton. I've won the top flight and both major domestic cups in Scotland, but never all three in the same season. I have over 15 caps for my country, which is not Scotland. Who am I? I've played alongside Kane Woolery, Jack Butland and Darren Bent. Been managed by Mickey Mellon and Chris Houghton. I've won the top flight and both major domestic cups in Scotland, but never all three in the same season. And I have over 15 caps for my country, which is not Scotland.
Tell you what, I like that. There's a lot of information there. If you go to our Twitter feed at Clyde SSB, you can see it all written down, if that helps, and that is where you direct your answers. It is a race, so get the thinking caps on at Clyde SSB. One tweet, one name, and let's see who the winners are. Obviously don't shout anything out, but any inclinations early on?
No, and I'm looking to my right, and I'm a bit concerned that he doesn't even have an idea, which is very unusual. So it must be difficult, but give us time, we can narrow it down. We've now moved out of Scotland. He doesn't play there.
Really?
No caps
at some
for
point.
Scotland.
No, he's not a Scotland international,
yeah.
so there we go.
We've narrowed it down.
Do you like that question, Roger Hanna?
Yeah, it's a good one.
You got any
No
encouragement?
clue whatsoever.
Good. That's what I like. That means it's pitched at the right level. So at Clyde SSB, send your answers over, please, and we'll have good fun going through them between now and the end of the show. Don't forget, the open line is very close. The first Saturday open line in 9 or 10 weeks, but it's flown by. So pick up the phone at 5 o'clock. Let us know what you've made of your team's performance today. That's the beauty of it. I mean, in an ideal world, we get people just coming out the game, in the car, on the bus, the emotion's still running high. We're asking a lot if that's you Rangers fans, because it means you've been stuck in traffic for quite some time. But nevertheless, get in touch at 5. What did you make of today? How pleasing was the turnaround? What did you make of the debutants, good or bad? What does it say about the character to win that match? What about the controversial decisions? Should Rangers' offside goal have stood? Were Livy hard done by to not have a goal stand later on? Should Livy have been reduced to 10 men? And so on. The open line will be here at 5, so don't miss the chance to have your say.
Would you have thought that if David Martindale had felt robbed by a referee's decision at 2-1 when his team put the ball in the net, would you have expected him to have brought it up?
Well, we didn't hear the full interview. We heard 1 minute of it where he was talking about Scott Arfield. We've seen it back, Roger, that one. And it's not immediately clear what the infringement is.
At the time, there weren't many complaints from the Livingston players, and there certainly wasn't any complaints that we're aware of from the Livingston manager afterwards. That said, didn't seem to be too many complaints from Giovanni Van Bronckhorst about the Cholak goal that was chalked off when the linesman's flag. Talking about official Hugh, a debut, Bobby Madden, his first game in England today, Yorkshire Derby, Bradford City, Doncaster Rovers.
Who's he sent off?
Well, he's gone down there, as we know. Bobby Madden, he's said goodbye to our game. He's now refereeing English games, and I saw him getting a lot of stick from the Bradford fans because there's a tackle that's resulted in a broken leg, or what looks like something like that, sorry, and he's dished out a yellow card, and they're saying, look at this, ridiculous, how can it be a suspected broken leg and only a yellow? Well, technically it could. It doesn't have to correlate in that way, but I've not actually seen the challenge itself, and he is getting some stick. So welcome to the new season, Bobby Madden.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where you go. You always come in for criticism if you're a referee. You'll never get praise, Gordon, unless you're listening to this show, Super Scoreboard, listening to myself. It's a hard job, difficult job. And as much as I wish every club, every player all the best for the season, I wish the referees the very same.
No one's ever said that on day one of the new season. But actually, I've seen some of your favourites quite a lot over the summer. Wee Willie tends to drive by me quite a lot, I've noticed.
Ignore you. Yeah, I've told him all about you.
I'm not going to give his address on TV, on radio exactly, but
lives near you now?
I don't know. I genuinely don't, but he's driven by me a suspiciously high number of times.
Doesn't live near him now.
Oh, we don't talk about that. No, that's a touchy subject.
Yeah.
We don't bring that up yet. Not ready. I'm even ready to talk about the Cardiff Norwich result to change the subject. There's Cove have saved the day. We can speak about that certainly. Cove Rangers 2, Wraith Rovers 0. Mitch Megginson again, a double for him on the opening day. proving he can do it at Championship level. And Cove well on their way to an opening day victory.
Well done to Jim McIntyre, a man who's known success in this game as player and manager. So,
and another one though, like Kelty, if you're talking about the two sort of newly promoted teams and not going into it with the same manager as previously.
Yeah, and you know, down the leagues, do they unfurl a banner as well when they win the league? Or just a flag like they used to?
No, they unfurl that, certainly. I'll tell you what, result of the day contender, because you'll need to pick one on Monday. Dundee 0, Partick Thistle 3.
Wow.
And it's Cole McKinnon on loan from Rangers, isn't he?
Yeah. Didn't he score against Hearts at Tynecastle in the game that came at the end of last season? Scored for Rangers there. There's bad blood between the clubs because of the season that was called early due to COVID-19, and Dundee had severe difficulty working the new technology.
Much like yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. So Partick Thistle felt that they were very, very hard done by being relegated, and they will be thrilled by the 3-0 away scoreline. Not yet result, but 3-0 away scoreline.
Incredible.
For Gary Boyer, what happened there?
That's laying down a marker. You go away to the league favourites, a team who have just been relegated, a team who are likely to jostle for trophies with you this season, and you're 3-0 up there after 50 minutes.
Just something that Hugh said there sparked a memory for me. At the end of last night's show, there was an old relic left sitting long after the show finished. And I know what you're thinking, but Hugh Keevins left on time. It was his Nokia. He left it.
You left it? Oh, that would freak me out.
It's so big and heavy that the desk was lopsided, trying to support the weight of it. And eventually, after a long time, I was worried about it, he came scurrying back in. I've never seen his hush puppies move so fast. And he took the Nokia away to safety, didn't you?
I found out there are games on the Nokia.
Of course there is. Snake, you've never heard of Snake? It's a legendary game from 1999, admittedly, but it's legendary.
But the 6-year-old, my 6-year-old grandson, said, "Oh," and we went, and then I realised it was £3 a game, so I snatched it out of his hand.
Oh, that can't be Snake then, unless they've changed things.
You must
nowadays.
have had a go at the Snake. Snake's the best game going about.
Oh, what a game that was, wasn't it? Oh, it was tremendous.
You've got to have a go at Snake.
But now that I know it's £3 a game, he's not getting the phone under any circumstances.
I don't think he'll want it.
Yeah, but he managed to rescue it at the end. So he's got
it's the thing that would probably
possession.
freak me out more than any. I actually sleep with my phone in the pillow.
You live a very different life to Hugh Keevins, though. You know what I mean? It's
never
not
turn
the same.
my phone off.
Just the phone or the phone?
Yeah, good nickname. But I do. I mean,
put it this way:
in case I miss anything.
If Hugh Keevins is at home with Lady Keevins and he's going to see all of us the next day, who's going to bother him in between? He doesn't live as much of a life in the fast lane as you do. He could go without the Nokia for a night, couldn't you?
I couldn't.
Oh yeah.
I couldn't. Honestly, I couldn't go a day without my phone.
You did phone producer Callum twice during his sister's wedding last week, by all accounts.
Yes, and he ripped my head off at the second call.
He did. Oh, sorry. He was very angry at you for phoning, I think is the way we'll rephrase that. Anyway, anything happening this afternoon?
Difficult half-time team talks for the Scottish lads that we spoke about at the top of the show. Alec Ray's Reading losing, Scott Brown's Fleetwood losing, Paul Hartley's Hartlepool losing.
That M6 is going to be busy.
You always like the managers to go down there. Do you not think, particularly in Paul Hartley's case, Hugh, you'll remember very well when Gordon Strachan went to Middlesbrough, and you know, if you take a lot of Scottish players, there's nothing wrong with it, it's players that you know, but when things don't go well, it becomes like a stick to beat the manager with, doesn't it?
Without doubt. And you know, you take a chance. I remember my late great friend Tommy Burns, when he was at Reading, he took loads of Scots down there as well, and it didn't work for Tommy either. I mean, there's nothing to say that. I mean, we have the Scotland captain who plays in England. We have John McGinn, who's now the new captain of Aston Villa. Scots do go there and prosper, but sometimes if you buy a job lot, it doesn't work.
Still plenty of time for it to be turned round, of course, but no goals going in at the moment that suggest so. Still waiting. Alan Forrest has now gone quite close a few moments ago for Hearts, driving into the box before firing wide, so still waiting on that one.
That's a surprise. It doesn't really surprise me David Friel hasn't had a goal at Perth, because as we said at 3 o'clock, St Johnstone and Hibs have looked as bad as each other through the Premier Sports Cup group games, Gordon. I thought Hearts would come out the traps, roared on by a big home crowd, as Fraser touched upon. Lawrence Shankland, league debut up top for them. Alan Forrest, league debut up there. Barry Mackay, who was absolutely terrific for them last season. So they do have, you know, attacking players there. There are goals in that team. You've seen that last season. I'm surprised it's still goalless.
No, look, we do our best to cover off as many of the talking points across the country. We could extend the show for 10 hours, Hugh, because we've of course got very exciting times down here on the West of Scotland League. You know, the Bankies, close to your heart. A 3-1 win against Arthurlie today.
Good for them.
That was sent in at Banky Boy. Has sent me that once I mentioned, so well done to the Bankies. Just along the road there, and some interesting results. I noticed Darvel, who won that league last year and then of course lost in the playoffs to try and get into the Lowland League, they've gone and lost on the opening day to Cumnock, a late winner, so that'll be a shock on the opening day in that division. Anything else you want mentioned, give me a shout. It's hard to rhyme them all off. I must admit we would be here all day. Teaser maybe, let's look at that. Only one person's got it right so far.
Wow.
One, and it is not Roger Hanna.
I have played alongside Kane Woolery, Jack Butland and Darren Bent. I have been managed by Mickey Mellon and Chris Houghton. I've won the top flight and both major domestic cups in Scotland, but never all three in the same season. I have over 15 caps for my country, which is not Scotland. Who am I?
The most common wrong answer, interestingly. Very common wrong answer. I wonder why so many going for this. Stephen is there, Greg's Gardens, Nicky Breslin, KP Jer, all going for Adam Matthews along with Sideshow Bob. No?
Wrong country.
Interesting though. Yeah.
We're narrowing it down, Roger, because you don't seem to be giving me encouragement.
No, I'm getting no encouragement
Paul
from myself.
Cochrane has gone for Aidan McGeady.
No.
Okay, keep the guesses coming in at Clyde SSB. We've had our first Premiership red card of the season, and it's gone to that experienced campaigner Murray Davidson. He's wiped out Ryan Porteous. He's been sent off, and we have our first Premiership red card of the season, just shy of the hour mark.
Murray Davidson must look around him and think, where did everybody go? You know, the club that wins 2 major trophies, win more trophies in one season than Aberdeen have done in a quarter of a century, and then it happens, and the results go the wrong way. Players start to leave. Players like Liam Craig retire, and Murray Davidson must feel like the last man standing, except he's no longer standing. He's been sent off.
Well, didn't David Friel say he had the captain's armband today in the absence of Liam Gordon?
Yeah.
And David read the team out 8 newcomers.
Yep.
2 more who only arrived at the club in January in Theo Bayer and Melker Hallberg. So Murray Davidson is the old timer, the captain for the day, and Callum Davidson will feel let down by that.
Goal Flash with Clyde Built Home Improvements.
And it's a goal for Hearts. It's Hearts 1, Ross County 0, and it's one of the summer signings, but not Lawrence Shankland. It's Alan Forrest. He's had one shot wide, he's had one off the line. It was coming, and he's eventually found the back of the net. A tidy finish from 6 yards out, and he has put Hearts in front. Hearts 1, Ross County 0.
Well, can we still describe it as against the run of play? Everything was against the run of play where Hearts were concerned in the first half, but he's a good young player, Alan Forrest. He'd scored a lot of goals for Livingston. He lives in the shadow of his brother James, but he's emerging from that shadow. He's going to be a good addition for Hearts this season.
On initial viewing, David Friel thought maybe a bit controversial. That sending off was a bit wild. Hibs on their Twitter describe it as a shocking tackle on Ryan Porteous. So we do have a sending off. It's for St Johnstone. They have gone down to 10 men, Murray Davidson, but more importantly, Gordon, for those Hearts fans, they'll be delighted with that.
Yeah, I said earlier, I'm sure I can remember a game Ross County was there and played excellent in the first half, and Hearts come out in the second half and won the game up to tempo. I agree with Hugh. I think young Alan Ford. He's a terrific signing. I like him. I think he's positive. He's got goals in him. He could be a good fit for Hearts, certainly, and that's the way to get your career up and running at Tynecastle in front of a big crowd, and that's the way to get the fans on your side. So well done to him. I think he could be a real find this year for Hearts and Robbie Neilson, and that's a goal that was certainly welcomed by the big support at Tynecastle this afternoon.
Well, Hearts are looking at the Edinburgh Derby next weekend as well and thinking we might have a chance to embarrass Hibs the way things are going there. So it's a big weekend for them. The Hibs fans at Perth will be saying, well, come on, you're now playing 10 men. In the immortal words of Delia Smith, let's be having you.
Yeah, it changes the pressure slightly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And do you know what? How many games have we seen where it just doesn't follow that playing 10 men is easier?
Yeah.
Yet we still are harsh on our own team if they can't get the business done against 10 men. It might not change anything about St Johnstone's performance. So they just sit the same 10 men back. They've got one less attacker. But yeah, it does change things.
It changes the dynamic where Lee Johnston is concerned. As I say, he's had a torrid time of it. The Premier Sports Cup was a farce. The results were poor, the performance is even worse, and then came the administrative howler, which put them out of the competition. Embarrassing. And then his owner, Ron Gordon's, making a huge fuss about the fixture list. Unlike Jim Goodwin, for example, who's looking forward to going to Celtic Park tomorrow with Aberdeen because he's got a free hit at Celtic. But now Hibs in the position that they're in, they really need to be capitalising on the numerical advantage.
Yeah, double change for St Johnstone in light of that. May and McPherson on for Murphy and Bear. So just trying to get some fresh legs. It's not a particularly defensive change, I suppose it is. Maybe McPherson adding a bit more.
Yeah, he'll
cover.
just slot in. He'll be a bit deeper than where Jamie Murphy was deployed. He'll drop in there next to Melker Hallberg. They'll go 3-4-2. It will be now really with Stevie May and Graham Carey trying to get close to him.
So still plenty to play for there. Still goalless between St Johnstone and Hibs, but the Saints are down to 10 men. We do have a goal in all the other games now. Dundee United leading Kilmarnock at Rugby Park by 1-0, and Alan Forrest has just put Hearts 1-up at home to Ross County.
I wonder if we'd see some life in Kilmarnock in the second half. I know Daz and Hugh both tipped United to win today. I thought it might be a draw because I thought they might be driven on. It's their first game back in the top flight, attacking line-up. Dennis McInnes would clearly want to take something from this game. I just thought there'd be a wee bit of life, but Gabriel's been quite quiet with stories of Kilmarnock attacking intent.
Yeah, not a great amount to tell you from there. Some of the names from Ross County, we did say about that turnover of players. These won't be familiar names to you. Olagby and Danda on, Owura and Sims have gone off, so that's 4, none of which we heard last season. Kelly are a bit ragged at the moment, Gabriel says, but the game's obviously still there for them. Only 1 goal in it.
I think it's important for Kilmarnock going into Kilmarnock because they've sold good season tickets. They'll get a good turnout today, as we've heard from Gabriel. You try and keep these supporters on board. Try and get a result. Try and get something positive. Get people excited about coming and watching your team again. It's a lovely day. The crowds are out. Keep them in the ground. Make sure that they want to come back for more. And that's why it's so important if you, especially at home, to try and get the 3 points on that board.
Malcolm Mackay be wondering what happened. First half, Fraser was telling us about chance after chance for Ross County. The Hearts fans becoming more and more restive, and now it's all gone pear-shaped. They're a goal down and it's just not happening for them.
Yeah, interesting end to this one coming up. We're in that last sort of half an hour, isn't it? So that's when you do tend to see changes and maybe new signings coming on, trying to make an impact. We're certainly in that portion of the game when that usually happens.
There's attackers on the bench for Lee Johnson and Hibs. If you're looking for that breakthrough, I think if you're against 10 men on the opening day of the season, after everything that's fallen for Hibs in the last few weeks, they will want to push on and win that game. would you turn to Christian Doidge? I think you probably would.
Yeah,
I think you
without
probably
doubt.
would. You know, they're still missing Kevin Nisbet. I think he's going to be out for the majority of the calendar year because of that horrible knee injury. They've got a lot of young players there just signed. They're missing Aidan McGeady. I think I'd be looking at Christian Doidge to come off the bench.
I think you've got to be so positive, Roger. It's the opening game of the season. Your opponents are down to 10 men. I think you've got to really put them under pressure and go for it.
Dundee have pulled one back, so it's looking a little bit better than it was. They were 3-0 down, remember, at home to Partick Thistle. Cammy Kerr, a real stalwart of the club, he's popped up with a rare goal on 64 minutes.
Is that the
to make it
fullback?
Dundee 1, Partick Thistle 3. Is
Yeah, good player, boy. I like him.
so maybe some life left in that one. I think sometimes the manner of defeat is important, Hugh. Dundee won't want to lose to their perceived title rivals at all, particularly at home. But 3-0 is an absolute doing. If you somehow pull that back, show signs of life, 3-2 maybe even, that definitely feels a good bit different.
Yeah, even that one goal makes a difference. If you've been beaten comprehensively at home and fail to score, that looks even worse. But 3-1, just under half an hour to go, you never know. 3-2 sounds all the more of an improvement.
Yeah, let's see if there's any life left in that one before we debate too much longer whether 3-2 is better than 3-1 and is better than 3-0. But you get where we were going with that one. Teams are making the changes, trying to get themselves either in front or back in the game. Let's check in on that teaser as well, Hugh, if you don't mind.
I have put alongside Kane Woolery, Jack Butland and Darren Bent. I've been managed by Mickey Mellon and Chris Houghton. I've won the top flight and both major domestic cups in Scotland, but never all three in the same season. I have over 15 caps for my country, which is not Scotland. Who am I?
You're going to have to do better. We've got some wrong answers. Jamie says Tony Watt.
Nope.
Still loads for Adam Matthews. Giovanni Van Stonchhorst says Kayal. Berham Kayal.
No.
Okay, keep the guesses coming then at Clyde SSB. Let's see if you can get that before the end of the day. You've maybe got about
How are we doing here, Roger?
20 minutes or so left
Struggle?
on that one.
I have to say, I know the answer because I'm looking at it on a sheet of paper, but
It's hard.
I am thinking, when did he play with him? And
Yeah, I agree with you. I can't do the Kane. I mean, I can guess, but I wouldn't have known the Kane Woolery connection. I can make a guess at it.
Or Chris Houghton. Managed by Chris Houghton. When?
Man of many clubs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
You could narrow that one down. That's where I was going down. That was the path I was
They're
going
going
down.
to the World Cup with Ghana.
And I ran into a dead end. What?
Chris Houghton. They're going to the World Cup with Ghana.
there you are.
Is that right?
Christian Doidge is coming on for Hibs.
Yeah.
Ian Harkes has been sent off for Dundee United. It's a second yellow. He caught Liam Donnelly. And will that swing things back in Kelly's favour? We spoke about it in the St Johnstone Hibs game. It doesn't always follow, but it's a bit of a lifeline for Kilmarnock. Dundee United had just brought on Niskanen for Stephen Fletcher as well, so they had just changed things, and that does alter events. Ian Harkes off for a second yellow card.
In the newspapers this morning talking about signing his contract, and the summary left, if you remember, at the tail end of last season. It looked as if his United career was over. They were desperate for him to stay. They managed to talk him into coming back and signing the new deal. It was the start of a new season for him today, but he's not lasted long. Who is the Willie Collum down there today?
Oh, I must admit, the new refereeing strip is doing Willie Collum no favours either, Gordon. We'll get to the important stuff like the red card in a minute. That's got to go. We're talking about the team's not looking sharp for the new season.
You did mention it when we seen the kit at the 12 o'clock kick-off with Livingston. Yeah, look, Gordon, I don't care what they look like as long as they make the right decisions. Yeah, sometimes you like to feel good, but no, I agree. I'm not really into my fashion, as you can tell. I look good standing next to Roger right enough, but I just think that the referee's kit's not the best just now.
See, speaking of his fashion, and he gets a hard time for the way he comes in here sometimes. Mark Wilson will have a go. I got this random memory came to me from, it was only a couple of years ago. The best thing about it is because of the change since then. Now, the one thing he does take seriously, as everyone knows, is his golf. He's got a lot of golf gear and then some, far too much, more than any man could ever wear. And actually, do you know what? Fair play to him. Some of it looks alright. So he's got all the gear, the shirts, the polo shirts, the jumpers, the jackets, trousers, all the lot, and the clubs and everything. But I was telling someone a story about when you first got back into golf just a few years ago. Remember, you and I, we would go and play.
Deal.
And you were just getting back into it, and it was one of the sunny days, and you turned up with just a round neck t-shirt on, which is not allowed, and it was really sunny, so you rolled these sleeves up, Roger Hanna, to like a makeshift vest.
I remember this.
Tank top thing.
I remember this.
And the cherry on top was he went to mark his ball, right, but he didn't have a ball marker, so he marked his ball with a sleeve of paracetamol. He took out his pocket, the biggest ball marker you've ever seen, glistening in the sun. I'm at the other side of the green thinking, what is that? What is that? And over on a sleeve of paracetamol to mark his ball.
I do remember that was the start of my venture into.
And he had an old golf bag that he had been given, no less, as a freebie, obviously, and it had a big hole in the bottom, so you used to plug the hole with an old tammy. You would like stuff the tammy into the hole at the bottom of the bag. What a change in a few years, because you're now addicted to buying the best of gear.
Yeah,
and it just came to me for something the other day.
He's now addicted to wearing the best of gear. Buying is a whole different argument.
Yeah, because there's deals to be done out there, let me tell you, in the financial climate.
Liam Boyce is on for Lawrence Shankland. A warm reception for both, says Fraser Wishart, as you would expect.
As you'd expect when they're 1-up. It wouldn't have been so warm if it had been still 0-0. But by the sound of it, Hearts are now dominant, to have overcome their bad first half, and Malky Mackay will be disappointed.
Walsall 4, Paul Hartley's Hartlepool 0. Hat-trick, that former Motherwell striker Danny Johnson.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Paul Hartley, I'm sure will remember him. He's got a hat-trick for Walsall. Motherwell could perhaps be doing with him at the moment. More about them later. I'm trying to put it off as long as I can. Cameron Clark sent off for Stirling Albion, 72 minutes. Not a good opening to the season for them, losing 2-0 at Dumbarton and down to 10 men. Tony Watt's been withdrawn. That a more defensive, certainly is it Ross Graham that's come on?
Ross Graham.
So it's certainly a more defensive change.
Daz could send Paul Hartley a text now and say, if you're going to lose 4-0, lose in the first day of the season.
There you are, you're in good company. Fraser Wishart says, I remember watching legendary Scots golfer Brian Barnes marking his ball with a can of lager.
Correct.
At a
Well done.
Tour event.
I remember big Brian Barnes. Yes.
Is that your inspiration, was it?
No, but like you, I was up at St Andrews a week prior, and it was just to go up there and see the golf and the stands and stand in that famous bridge, Gordon. That's better than lifting any cup at all.
You nearly got hit, didn't you?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it.
Well, hold on. Watching the golf was better than lifting any.
No, standing on that famous bridge where Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Tiger Woods nearly stopped. I could have been.
No, I know all. I know the history.
Getting that photograph, that beats anything.
So, as a tourist, a member of the public, standing where anybody can go and stand if they want, means more to you than winning something at football.
Yeah, over that bridge. Yeah, that's a fantastic memory.
Can I offer heartfelt apologies to any of the fans who paid to watch Gordon Dalziel over the years? Apologies to any of his former teammates. How can that? Anybody can go and get that picture taken.
I know, but it's the sentiment behind it. Anybody can go and win cups and medals if you're good.
My daughter dropped a friend off at the old course when the Open was on, and it was coming back round the corner at St Andrews, and stopped to let a gentleman cross over the road, and he came over to the car to say thank you very much, Glenn Hoddle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, some famous people.
Oh, there are a lot of famous faces got
but
it
was absolutely 50th Open, absolutely brilliant. Just to be a
weirdly part this is nowhere near Glenn Hoddle. I'm scraping the barrel if we're talking celeb spotting here. No offence if he's listening. 3 times. There's a lot of people there, so the chances of bumping into the same person. I saw Steve Sidwell 3 times. Remember him?
St Johnstone manager.
No,
the boy played Man City player, midfield player.
St John's manager.
No, that was Steve Lomas.
Played Played with Chelsea,
Man
Reading,
City.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
Man City, wasn't it?
No.
He keeps saying Man City. It's not going to randomly be.
You sure you
correct,
didn't play
I'm
with Man
sure.
City?
You played for Man City, remember?
You've seen the wrong one.
You are mixed up. You're thinking Steve Lomas. It's because they're ginger. You've lumped them both together. There's about 25 years between them in age, probably,
Oh, right,
but you've
okay.
got them, or maybe not as much as that. But
You think they've said Little and Eddie Large?
Oh, yeah, I know Eddie very well.
Jordan White is on for Dominic Samuel for Ross County, trying to get themselves back in it. Elgin won his 5-3.
Dunfermline in the lead as well, home to Alloa. Matthew Todd, that's a big goal for James McPake, Hugh.
Yeah, well, they say they used to be a very big club. European football, Scottish Cup wins, the lot. And it's been very sad watching their decline. So I think James McPake will do a good job there, and I fancy them for promotion.
Sammy the Tommy still there, does?
Sammy, I've not been to East End Park for a long while, Roger. And Hugh's right. It was a terrific place to play. I remember playing there in the Fife Derby, 15,000.
Ever spent your Saturday night at East End Park?
No.
The Legends Suite. Last Saturday, our colleague Stephen Mill, his wedding reception was in East End Park on the Saturday night.
Yeah.
So there we go. I can. And producer Callum was in Lorenzo's nightclub until 4 a.m. apparently. I'm not familiar with the venue. I must admit, I had headed home long before. I'll let producer Callum's embarrassment at that die down, because we've got one of these, which is good timing.
Goal Flash with Clyde Built Home Improvements.
Hearts 2, Ross County 0, and it's Barry Mackay. Had a very good season for Hearts last year. If you were being hypercritical, he probably could have added more goals. Well, he's got off and running this season. 77 minutes gone. Puts a bit of gloss on the result for Hearts. It's Hearts 2, Ross County 0.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a home win now. So the proverbial game of two halves. The crowd not happy at all with Hearts' first half performance, and now they'll finish 2-0 winners. And Hibs still goalless, and the two meet next week. So it's good for Hearts today, not so good so far for Lee Johnson and Hibs.
Well, we can put that to bed. Hearts have got 3 points. We now focus on the two games where one of the teams is down to 10 men. Can Hibs take advantage of Murray Davidson's red card and get the win Lee Johnson so dearly needs? And can Kilmarnock take advantage of Ian Hark's red card and get an equaliser?
A really good goal this from Barry Mackay. It's a long ball, nice touch. He's always had a great touch. Takes out two defenders, dummies the goalie, and then just rolls it into the empty net. So well done to him. Hearts are 2-0 up thanks to Barry Mackay.
It's the one thing when he used to come to the coach, and I told him that he had to add to his game was goals, Gordon. If he was going to succeed at the top, because his ability was brilliant. See, to watch him in the training, he's so confident. He would take the ball in any position. He was honestly fantastic first touch. But he used to ask me for a bit of advice, and I'd say, look, you need to add goals, especially against Ross County at home.
He had a really good season though, Roger, didn't he? We were, even some people, talking about a Scotland call-up at the end of last season.
Yeah, and he did really well, and I think he got a contract extension halfway through the season as well, didn't he? He became so integral to everything that Hearts were doing there. And you know, Hearts, they tend to line up. We've done it again today, Gordon. Three at the back.
However
Goal Flash with Clyde Built Home Improvements.
A lifeline for Ross County, and it comes courtesy of the sub Jordan White, who only tends to score against Rangers usually, but he's turning over a new leaf this season. It's a long ball over the top, just beats Craig Gordon and then tucks it into the corner. So that's what he was brought on to do, Jordan White.
Did you not tell Barry Mackay the most important thing is once you've scored a goal, don't concede straight away?
Yeah, he wasn't listening at that time. But I'll tell you what, big Jordan White, he wasn't a success at Motherwell, let's be honest about it, but Ross County seems to be a good fit for him. He's a dangerous player. He's come on there and he's got them back into the game. So a nervy last 10 minutes or something, 9-10 minutes to go.
Scored the goal against Celtic that cost Neil Lennon his job one Sunday evening in Dingwall. So 10 minutes, yeah, as you say, Daz. Chances.
I love it. His record last year was incredible though. He got 6 goals last season. In fact, 5 in the league. 5 league goals for Jordan White. 4 of them against Rangers.
And I need to apologise to both you
Incredible.
and Barry Mackay, Daz.
Why?
Apparently he was subbed straight after his goal and Halliday gets sent on before Ross County scored.
So Halliday's fault then.
He's sent on to it was just after the goal. Yep, Andy Halliday has been brought on just to shore things up. He's good at that, isn't he?
He'll be panicking. He needs win bonuses now.
For the
He's
wedding.
got that big wedding.
Yeah, absolutely.
I paid for a few of them. They're not cheap.
What about the other night? He was getting a bit of a. There's a few suggestions that he looks very like new Rangers signing Ridvan Yilmaz with a wig on. He was not happy about it. We put a poll on Twitter. Thousands of people replied in favour of it. They agreed, but he was not having it. Even his new fiancée sent in some very harsh opinion on
fiancée
on him not looking like Ridvan Yilmaz.
Did she
the
reply?
language. Oh wow, yeah.
That's no good news.
But he wasn't having it whatsoever. But there we go. He's on this afternoon. Let's see what he does, and we can rib him about it next time he's on the show. Kilmarnock still trailing Dundee United. It was something that we I think we were distracted. They had hit the bar. Ollie Shaw. Was there any suggestions? I don't think so. We need to check in with Gabriel at the game if there was any suggestions that it was over the line. But they did hit the bar. I don't think I mentioned it. Thomas O'Brien, one of the nominees for Player of the Year in the Championship last year, he's been sent off for Arbroath. 81 minutes gone in that one.
Yeah, they're down at here. I think still 0-0. So you just wonder, it seems to be a day of red cards in Scottish football. You just wonder if there's a chance for there to go on and get a winner now.
Early season exuberance, I think we'll put it down to. Cabraca's been booked for a challenge on McGowan. Hibs against St Johnstone. Saints want a red for that. They feel aggrieved because they've been reduced to 10 men, but the referee having none of it. I love this. Never let it be said that we shy away from the big issues on the show. We actually have had a tweet from Paul Wilkie who says, what on earth have they done with the referees' new tops? They are absolutely minging.
I quite like them,
says Paul. Oh no. I don't know what Adidas have done. Is that sort of weird V-neck thing? A man of Willie Collum's physical shape as well.
When I started to go at football, the referee wore a jacket
on the pitch.
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What kind of jacket? I need to find pictures of this.
A suit jacket. Google Jack Mowat or Tiny Wharton.
Tiny. Oh, he had a duffel coat on.
Tiny Horton.
Wharton.
Wharton.
One of the most famous referees ever.
I know. Calm down.
When you'll see this for a jacket.
He was thinking of Tim Horton.
Yeah, that's where he was today.
From a breakfast this morning. Genuinely, I picked him up.
I got a text you want in Tim's.
The legendary
Get some Timbits.
European Cup final, Real Madrid 7-9 Track Frankfurt 3 at Hampden. Jack Mowat was the referee.
Yeah, I can see it. The old shirt and jacket. Wow, what a look.
How things have changed.
Well, I'll tell you what's better than that abomination that they're wearing this season. I'm not happy with that whatsoever.
No.
I even had an anonymous message from a official in Scotland who agrees.
Hold on, I'll check my phone because I know them all.
Oh, I don't speak to the same people as you, believe. I try to keep our circles separate if we can.
I talk to
Is it not the case that the outfits are nice but the referees are misshapen?
No, that's the thing. Willie Collum keeps himself very trim. It looks sort of baggy and awkward. Nah, I'm not having it.
What about this for Clyde, Gordon?
Yeah, Queen of the South 1, Clyde 3, Jordan Allen. What a terrific start to the season.
Is Danny still at Clyde? Yeah, Danny's still there, an ex-teammate of mine.
Now they're away today, so that's not an issue, but no longer at Broadwood either.
No, that's
correct. Where are they playing in Hamilton?
Yeah.
Is it Hamilton?
Yeah. In Queen's Park at Oakleview until Lesser Hamden's ready.
And that's taken a while.
Yeah.
I walked past it in the summer, looked through the gate, and it looked magnificent.
Yeah, it looked great.
The new pitch, I suppose every sort of newly laid pitch looks good, but just in particular it looked absolutely brilliant, I must say. So hopefully we get to see that in action sooner rather than later.
Well, we've come to the end of the day and we've got a goal somewhere.
Well, I was sincerely hoping, just going to say before we do get a hopefully climactic finish, I'm going to see some of our younger listeners tonight, Hugh, heading off from here to Paisley to hand over some awards to the Glenvale 2008 football team, Young Boys Club. They all listen to the show.
One afternoon in the studio was he thinks he's a celebrity. He's now doing functions.
He thinks he's Ant Deck.
They'll all be listening to the show this afternoon. They love the Dazzler. So do the mothers.
Hold on, they love the Dazzler, but they've asked you to hand out the end of season awards.
I presume Daz refused.
Incredible.
I refuse nothing like that, especially with a fee involved. But no, listen, wish a lot.
Yeah, well done to the lads.
And
congratulations,
the girls,
all the winners
Shall
tonight.
we get this done?
The teaser, yeah, I suppose we should. There's a few minutes left, so why not round off that second half teaser?
The second half teaser.
With the scottishsun.co.uk/football for the best football news and opinion online.
I have played alongside Kane Woolery, Jack Butland and Darren Bent. I have been managed by Mickey Mellon and Chris Houghton. I've won the top flight and both major domestic cups in Scotland, but never all three in the same season. I have over 15 caps for my country, which is not Scotland. Who am I? I am Paddy McCourt.
Paddy McCourt, well done if you got that right. I thought that was really tough, but as usual, our listeners are just top of the class. Outstanding effort. Chris Johnson in third place, Jonathan Wood in second, and Lee Collins is the winner. Well done to the three of you. And do you know what, I like new names as well. Sometimes we've got some real serial winners out there who are brilliant every week, but these guys have stepped up to the plate at the start of the new season, so well done you three. We've got a lot of, there we are, what did I say about the gloss coming off the result? Tyler French has made it Dundee 2, Partick Thistle 3 with 5 minutes to go. Lee Connolly's been sent off for Queen of the South. Bonnie Rig Rose, a first ever game in the SPFL. They are 2-0 up against Forfar thanks to Scott Gray. And it's not just players based in Scotland who are being sent off today. Our international defender Grant Hanley has been shown a second yellow as well for Norwich as they trail Cardiff by 1-0.
What about them for a yo-yo club, you know, up and down, and this is the down part again, and they've started off badly. So Delia need to do something about it.
Do you think she storms into Grant Hanley and shouts, "Let's be having you"?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, what's the parachute payment thing, isn't it, Roger? Every time you go down, you get the big, you get the big windfall, and it allows you to be better than what you're going down to face, but not good enough to stay up.
Look at the teams who went up last season: Fulham and Bournemouth, who had just come back down. And
let me stop you right there, and you won't mind when you hear the drama we've got.
Goal Flash with Clyde Built Home Improvements.
And it is an equaliser for Kilmarnock on their return. Hammers in a volley, does Ash Taylor in at the far post. One of the summer signings. Derek McInnes knows him well, not necessarily for his goal scoring, but he has brought Kilmarnock level. We did say Dundee United down to 10 men, would it go against them? And it has. Rugby Park erupts, a terrific home crowd in there on the opening day, and they've enjoyed what they've witnessed right at the death. Late drama, 90 minutes on the clock, and it looks like Kelly will take a point on the opening day.
Absolute sickener for all concerned. But when Dundee United went down to 10 men after Ian Harkes was red carded, the onus was on Kilmarnock to make use of that advantage, and they have done. So a sickener for Jack Ross, all the Dundee United players, but particularly for producer Callum.
Yeah, being described as a real striker's finish from Ash Taylor. He's lashed a volley high into the roof of the net. He's got the captain's armband on. He wheels away, much to the delight of the Kilmarnock faithful. They will have enjoyed that.
They can do that, can't they? They not do it against Arbroath towards the end of last season, equaliser before Blair Alston then went on to get the winner in that crucial game at the top of the championship. He's done it before for Derek McInnes and for Aberdeen, and it wouldn't surprise me if it was like a striker's finish, because he really does have that in his locker, Gordon.
Jack Ross might be disappointed. I think two of his defenders get caught underneath the same ball, and it allows Ash Taylor to peel round the back, and he's got time. It's still a difficult finish on the angle.
Do you know what the you're saying sickening thing there, Hugh? See if you get outplayed 11v10, you can accept that as a manager, right? Because you've been maybe caught out position. That's a set play. It doesn't matter, it's 11v10. That's a set play. You should defend it better.
Does it maybe throw a bit of chaos into who's picking up who?
Well, you should have that information on the pitch.
I mean,
Gordon,
Ian Harkes won't have been
job.
marking Ash Taylor anyway, but maybe just a knock-on effect. Kelty Hearts 0, FC Edinburgh 2. So that's a good start to the season for them, and not a great start to life in League One for Kelty.
Nice for Derek McInnes, the Kilmarnock manager, to know that his players believe it ain't over till it's over. They've hung in there, and they've got their reward.
As a Saturday studio rookie, Gordon, can I inquire, These Accas, am I able to cash out anytime soon?
So remind me of your option. You did go for a draw. And Hearts to win.
And a draw at Perth.
Did you? Oh, he is shown off, swanning into the studio and doing what you two can't do in 50 Saturdays across a season.
And David Friel's just burst my bubble.
He has indeed. We've got one of these.
Goal Flash with Clyde Built Home Improvements.
And Hibs have snatched it at the death again. It's the 10 men who can't hang on. St Johnstone down to 10 men. We think it was Josh Campbell that got the final touch, but it won't matter too much to Lee Johnson or those travelling Hibs fans, because they will take all 3 points on the opening day, barring a late miracle. 1-0 right at the death, and Hibs have got the goal that they've been craving all afternoon. Hugh Keevins.
Well, out of jail, it would not have looked good had Hibs lost on the first day of the season, and particularly against 10 men, and they have snatched victory from the jaws of a draw.
Yeah, you've got to say the manager, Hibs manager Johnson, will be over the moon with that. And Callum Davison obviously introducing 8 new signings today, down to 10 men, thinking, you know what, we'll take a point, something to build on. Been snatched away from them, but well done to Hibs.
Full-time whistles are starting to go. We've even got one in the Premiership. It comes at Rugby Park, and here's Gabriel.
Full time here at Rugby Park. It's Kilmarnock 1, Dundee United 1. A thunderous strike from Dylan Levitt just before the interval was cancelled out by a last-minute smashing volley from Ash Taylor. Early on in the first half, United were keeping the ball well. Levitt was controlling the game, but Killie had significantly more chances. Polworth had 2 shots saved by Birigiti and curled one more just wide from 20 yards. United's only effort before the goal was a Tane Mulgrew free kick, but in the 44th minute, against the run of play, Dylan Levitt, on his first game as a permanent United player, fired them ahead. The ball broke in the box to Stephen Fletcher, who took his time. He softly rolled a back heel into Levitt's path, who rifled the ball into the roof of the net. And it was the worst time for Killie to possibly concede. As the second half started, it was United on the front foot. Mulgrew bent over 2 free kicks. It was a bit ragged from Killie, and the crowd here started to get agitated. But in the 72nd minute, Ian Harkes handed them a lifeline. He was shown a second yellow card after he caught Liam Donnelly, a daft foul, it must be said. Polworth fired over, and the pressure started to turn up. With 15 minutes to go, Ollie Shaw received a sliding through ball. He hammered the ball off the underside of the crossbar with his left foot. It was so close to crossing the line that the Rugby Park goal music was accidentally played around the ground, but it wasn't over. United brought on an extra defender. They sucked up the pressure. They headed out all of Kilmarnock's crosses. Fraser Murray, Kerr McEnroy wingbacks just couldn't find a man in the middle of the box. However, in the 90th minute, after all of that pressure, the ball arrived to Ash Taylor's boot at the far post from a corner, and like a true striker, he smashed the ball into the net. Rugby Park absolutely erupted, and the fans around me here clapping all of their players off. They're delighted with a point. United were decent and nearly held on, but the sending off clearly cost them. Killie's pressure paid off, and the crowd delighted, just like manager Derek McInnes. A cracking opening game in the Premiership, a draw, a fair result. Full time here at Rugby Park. Kilmarnock 1, Dundee United 1.
Well, the Kilmarnock fans enjoyed that towards the end, didn't he? Just a point, but the nature of it, certainly one that will send them home relatively happy. A wonder strike from Dylan Levitt to set Dundee United on their way. They were then reduced to 10 men, and Kilmarnock snatch a point thanks to Ash Taylor. Now, we did have late drama between St Johnstone and Hibs. They've taken the lead, have the Easter Road side on their travels. There is still time for things to change there, but we're running out of it, and there were 4 minutes added on at Tynecastle maybe about 2 minutes ago, so we're nearly there. And again, there is a chance there. Ross County, maybe just one more opportunity to throw that ball up, try and feed off the scraps, and maybe get an unlikely equaliser after falling 2-0 down in that one. So we'll keep you posted. Don't forget the open line's pretty much here, so let's hear you right now. 01419511025. What are your thoughts on today's game? Killie fans, you'll be happy. The Hearts fans should be happy. Hibs, Partick Thistle fans, would be nice to hear from you. And what about you Rangers fans? An opening day victory, what did you make of it all? We'll get on to tomorrow. We'll talk Motherwell and managers. It is all happening. We could probably extend the phone in till 8 o'clock, but Gordon Dale's got big plans tonight, so we will not do that to him. Still waiting on the full-time whistles from the other games. We can't be far away, certainly at McDermott Park. You would have to think so. But Killie fans enjoyed that one, Hugh?
It always feels to supporters like a moral victory when you score in 90 minutes plus one, and it always feels to the team who have lost the goal and lost 2 points as a consequence like a punch to the solar plexus.
Yeah, I think Derek McInnes will be delighted. Dundee United made it very difficult for them, but it's a point.
Yeah, and just like that, full time then at Tynecastle. Here's Fraser.
Hearts 2, Ross County 1. Hearts not at their best. County caused them real problems in the first half especially, but just about deserved win for the Jambles to get off to a flying start with a win on the first day of the season. Probably just about deserved it for their second half performance. 2 terrific goals by Alan Forrest and Barry Mackay winning the points, though Jordan White did give County hope towards the end by pulling a goal back. County, as I said, by far the better team in the first half. They hit the woodwork twice. Dominic Samuel with a header that Gordon standing watching hit the post, and Sims couldn't turn the rebound into the back of the net. That was from a very dangerous cross by Owen Edwards, who was excellent throughout, and 2 minutes later Edwards cutting from the left hand side hit a 20-yard dipping shot. Again, Craig Gordon well beaten, it hit the bar and came out, and Gordon made 3 or 4 decent saves as well, which showed where the game is going in that first half. Hearts did have one decent chance. Lawrence Shankland close to a 30-yard shot, and Mackay mishit a Coughlin cutback. Overall, Hearts pretty poor and needed to move the ball quicker in the second half and get their front 3 into the game, and it was much better in the second 45. Alan Forrest beat 3 men inside the box, his left foot shot beat Laidlaw, and it was kicked off Randall, but just a couple of minutes later it was Forrest that opened the scoring. He started to move on the edge of the box and continued his run into the 6-yard box. Grant fed Coughlin, and the left back cut the ball back brilliantly into the 6-yard box, and an excellent low finish tucked away by Forrest from 6 yards. County struggled to get forward as they had in the first half. Malky Mackay threw on Danda and a leg being to attack. Callahan tested Gordon from 25 yards, but then it was all over virtually by a brilliant goal by Barry and Mackay. A long ball over the top, you have to watch it on television. A brilliant first touch, took out 2 defenders. As he ran into the box, 2 defenders get back to him, he beat one again, then dummied the goalkeeper and stroked the ball into the back of the net. One brilliant goal by Mackay, but almost immediately Mackay was substituted, and then County grabbed a lifeline, a simple goal, ball over the top, defence nowhere, and sub Jordan White beat the advancing Craig Gordon to the ball and tucked the ball into the net under the goalkeeper. But to be honest, that wasn't particularly a lifeline, as County didn't really look like grabbing an equaliser, and Hearts saw out time for the 3 points. Good to be back at the football, never dull at Tynecastle. Robbie Nielsen will be quite happy with the 3 points. Had to work hard though, performance maybe not quite what he wanted, but Malky Mackay, he'll rue that first half when they were really on top but could score that vital opener. Good game to watch here at Tynecastle. Full time Hearts 2, Ross County 1.
Good victory for Hearts on the opening day. What about their city rivals? It's finished at McDermott Park. Here's David Friel.
Full time, Gordon St Johnstone 0, Hibs 1. You can hear the Hibs fans in fine voice behind the goal. Lee Johnson, their manager, claimed the footballing gods were against them this week. Well, they got a break in Perth with Josh Campbell's late winner against St Johnstone. Callum Davison's side played the last 32 minutes with 10 men after Murray Davison was sent off for a reckless challenge on Ryan Porteous, and Hibs finally took advantage. Total drama here in injury time when sub Josh Campbell met Ewan Henderson's corner to give them a much needed win on the road. Hibs, to be fair, had the best of the first half. Henderson wasted a good chance in 28 minutes. He was picked out by Marihan Cabraja's cross, but he volleyed wide from 8 yards. Home side, they were pretty poor throughout, let's be honest, but they had a brief flurry after the break when Jamie Murphy headed wide, but Hibs were still the better team. Eli Yuan was unlucky with a header. Then came that red card in 58 minutes. Murray Davison, he tried to start a counter-attack, but he took a heavy touch and then wiped out Ryan Porteous. To be fair to Ewan Anderson, the referee, he did take his time before showing the red card. It looked like St Johnstone would hold on. They really defended well, but Hibs' pressure finally paid off at the death when Josh Campbell met the corner and the ball was forced over the line. Full time at McDermott Park, St Johnstone 0, Hibs 1. And
just like that, the first Saturday of a new league season is over, which means it's your chance to have your say on the day's big talking points. 0141 951 1025. Come on, what did you make of your team's performance? Are you happy? Are you angry? Are you somewhere in the middle? All the usual fun that you've missed out on over the last 9 weeks. I'm sure there are refereeing decisions, there are other talking points that you want to get through, and that's before we even look ahead to tomorrow. Flag Day at Celtic Park, Motherwell without a manager before the league season's even started. What a place Scottish football is, but you are what makes it. So it's 0141 951 1025. Pick up that phone and let us know how you're feeling.
After the action, it's